Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
With ROBB FLYNN.
What up, what up, what up, podcast party people? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Whoa. Hold on, what is going on? Now I'm declining you. Did you guys hear that? That was crazy. Did you hear that? That was crazy. Somebody just called. During my intro. Barbecue calling because I got Barbecue on the line. I'm going to get him here in a second. I got to say, this is a great episode, man. Will CARROLL is awesome. I love Wilbur, a.k.a. Wilbur. He was our drummer for one tour back in 1995, and I'm pretty sure that's where I met him. He was just recommended by somebody, I don't know. He tells the story. But he ended up in Machine Head for the final tour of the Burn My Eyes album cycle, which was through the U.S. And, man, we go through some fucking funny stories. Shit that I totally forgot about. Just goddamn. And pretty good shit. Pretty good shit. So you'll definitely be highly entertained here. Hold on, what's going on? Barbecue's fucking... I got Barbecue on because Barbecue has the funniest fucking story. And so I'll start... I'll set the whole thing. First of all, let me just go into a couple of things. I'm going to go into a couple other things. Yesterday was super productive. Got some sick... photographs done with Travis Shin for the album. They're going to be bad fucking ass, dude. These photos turned out really good, man. And pretty cool shit. We did a bunch of it. You know, we'll probably do some more. We did some really cool studio stuff. And then we did some stuff where we actually played live, and he got us in like the electric happy hour vibe, which looked really cool, like all tripped out and psychedelic, man. It was like an acid trip that I did when I was in high school, and then we went outside and we did some street stuff, and like maybe it'll be cool. I don't know. I've been doing street photos for so fucking long at this point. Like I'm sick of street photos. You know, fucking train tracks. You know, like this. I've been doing those same train tracks now since 1993. So, you know, I'm just really excited about the other ones. But we're getting there, man. We're almost done with the package. It's looking sick. I finished up the Peacemaker series. I think I was talking about this the other week. Peacemaker is an offshoot of the second Suicide Squad. I almost said Suicide Silence. The second Suicide Squad. And it's got John Cena in it, starring John Cena, and it's pretty funny, pretty raunchy. You know, certainly raunchier than anything we've seen John Cena be in before. You know, he's kind of been like the all-American guy. And it's cool to see this side of him. Pretty violent, you know, gory as fuck. And it's a good series. And the thing that's the funniest thing about the series is it's got like all of the D-League glam rock bands from the 80s. Like all the bands that never really did much, but like you heard their name and like all that. So... It's really fucking. It amazingly like all of that music fits perfectly, and every fucking song is about rock, and we talk about this. But I talk about this during the thing, and I want to play it because here's the song. I think I talk about this with Will, but here's the song right here. Do you really want to taste it? Which actually isn't from the 80s. This is a song from 2010, but They fucking, like, they got it in the. I was listening to it and I was like, that is not from the 80s. Production's way too good. But this song is like the intro music for the Peacemaker, and they're all doing like this funny dance. Do you really wanna taste that? What's going on, must come down. I cannot get this fucking song out of my head. Invisible bone. Throw your dog the invisible bone. What does that even mean? Like, throw your dog the invisible bone. I can't get that fucking song out of my head. I've had it. I had to play it because I fucking can't stop hearing it in my head. I listened to it a couple times on the way back from the jam room the other day. And yeah, it's a banger. So shout out to Wigwam or Wigwam, however you say it. I actually think that Machine Head and Wigwam did some festival in Japan. Was it? I don't know. It's not Beat Feast. It's something else. But a festival in Japan, and I think that they were pretty popular. This was about fucking 12 years ago or something. But I just remember that I was like, well, who the fuck is Wigwam? They were insanely popular in Japan at the time, and yeah. So all these years later, they got their song as the lead track on Peacemaker, the DC Comics show that's pretty funny. And it just wrapped up. I gotta say, fucking season finale was good season finale. So if you're into that shit, go check it out. Good season finale. Anyway, I got Barbecue here, and I'll let him. I'm gonna just get him on. He might be even trying to join. I'll just text him right now. Barbecue.
Yo.
What's happening, man?
Mate, been a rough week.
Been a rough week. I kind of set this up, but I'm going to set it up a little bit, and then I'll let you take over from here. But
yeah.
So back, I want to say about 2 years ago, I got a cock zit. I was actually on vacation in Turks and Caicos, and I got a zit on my cock, which was, I'd never had that happen. It was quite bizarre, honestly, and it wasn't really painful. It was just fucking weird that I had this. It was mildly painful. It eventually, it got big enough to, I got a white head and I popped it. But I think I talked about it on an Instagram story or something, and Barbecue wrote a song about it.
Zit on my cock.
It was great. But then he texts me to let me know that he has something even crazier than a cock zit. So I'll let you take over from here.
All right. So we went away last weekend, did a boat trip up to the islands. Similar. This is why I sort of reached out to you. It was very similar, beautiful setting. Had a good weekend away with the family. And Sunday I went to work. I had a 24-hour shift. Sunday night, I was a bit blocked up, a bit constipated. And when you go away on the boat, you just eat burgers and bread and sandwiches and cheese and crackers and drink beer, as you know, camping.
Mm-hmm. The best.
So So just eating shit all weekend and
your bowels beer. Pay for it. Your bowels pay for it in the end.
Fucking oath. So I'm sitting there at work, and I work in a resi house with young people, and you got to be, you got to try to be quick because things can happen in these houses where you got to be ready to go. So I'm in there and I'm like, oh man, this ain't good. So I'm squeezing and I'm having a bit of trouble.
You're crowning. You've got a poop coming, and you need to hold it because you got stuff to do.
Yeah, I need to hold it or get it out. So I try to get it out quick, and I squeeze a bit, and I feel this pain. I'm like, oh, that ain't fucking right. And I snap a bit off. I snapped a bit off, but I pulled up on it.
What's that?
I snapped a bit of the poop off. I got a bit out. I snapped it off.
Oh, like mid poop, you stopped.
Yeah, I stopped. It was too much. I'm at work, and I just felt it was going to take another.
It's that painful that you got to stop.
also it was taking too long. And at my job, you can't be in the toilet for an hour, half an hour. So
Right.
I backed out of aborted mission, and and I felt this pain then. I've never felt a pain like it. And I'm like, oh, shit, I think I got a hemorrhoid. I've never had a hemorrhoid. I'm starting to freak out because I've heard about hemorrhoids. And I'm like, fuck. Anyway.
You ever had a hemorrhoid?
No, I've never had one. I'm like, I suppose I'm around the age you start getting them.
I've had them for 20 years now.
Fuck.
They're horrible.
It was freaking me out anyway. So the next day, I finished my shift the next day at 4:00 and I go home, and I already told the missus, I text her and I told her, I think I got a hemorrhoid. And my missus is like, I'll have a look when you get home. And I'm like, you're not fucking having a look at my asshole. Like, there's certain things she can wax my ass crack, but she's not staring into the abyss. Like, I'm like, no, you're not looking in my asshole. She's like, don't worry, I've seen everything, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm freaking out about this. I don't want you seeing it. So she's like, all right, when I'm at work on Tuesday, so we get through Monday night, she goes to work Tuesday, she brings me home Anusol, the cream. So
okay,
she's like,
this is like a hemorrhoid medicine.
A hemorrhoid cream.
Okay.
So I'm like, what do I do with this? She reads the instructions. You insert this. You got to squeeze it up your butt. Yeah. I'm like, fuck. So I'm squeezing this shit up I'm squeezing this cream up my butt for all Tuesday, and I'm freaking out so much I started eating
and then
clean.
Your butt's just creamy for the rest of the day.
Oh
You're
yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Slowly
it's cream, and it's slowly coming out. And I started eating clean too because I was so freaked out. I wanted to like poop regularly. So I'm like, I'm eating bran, I'm eating sultana bran, I'm eating prunes, I'm drinking juices, I'm totally cleaning out so I can just come through without hurting me. But I still was blocked up from work. So we're into Tuesday. I'm putting the cream in, and the pain is getting worse every day. Like, it's starting to get really bad where I can't sit and walk and it's hurting.
Oh, jeez.
And you know, the worst thing by Tuesday sort of night, the worst pain was if I farted. If I had gas and my sphincter vibrated with a big fart, I fucking screamed. Like, I was like fucking screaming. So, and the funny thing is, I'm laying in bed. I'm laying in bed Tuesday night. I'm trying to watch a TV show or a series, and my daughter sneaks in the dark and fucking jumps out and scares me and tickles my armpit, and I fucking rip the biggest fart because I've been eating clean and I'm all healthy and I'm full of gas, and I rip this giant fart, and Carly and my daughter both heard it. They're laughing, and I'm screaming in pain, like, get out of my room, like, fuck. It hurt so bad. So
that's too funny.
We get through Tuesday night.
Don't you go to the doctor at some point, right?
Yeah, so I get through to Wednesday. Wednesday, I actually had a full bowel movement. It was fairly big and fairly bad, and it must have been everything that was in there from the weekend finally came out, and it got me. It just, afterwards, I couldn't wipe my butt. I got in the shower and I cleaned myself in the shower. And when I'm cleaning, I could feel something outside my butthole. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a fucking hemorrhoid. I'm like, I'm flipping out. I'm stressing. I've even heard you can poke. I've read up all about it. So I'm like, I'm trying to poke it.
I don't believe you can poke them. I've heard that's really bad.
I'll poke them back in?
Poke them back. I see what you're saying. Yeah, poke them back in.
Yeah. So I'm pushing on this thing. I'm trying to get it in. I'm frigging. I don't want that fucking hemorrhoid hanging out of my ass. And I'm still doing Anusol, and I'm still eating clean, and I'm showering instead of wiping. And I ring the doctor and I go, fuck, just get me in. And they were, we'll get you in tomorrow. We can't get you in today. I'm in real bad pain. They're like, all right, who do you want? I said, just give me anyone. And they said, all right, we'll book you in with Dr. Charles. I later on find out his last name's Evil. So I'm going to see Dr. Charles Evil, who I've never seen before.
Dr. Evil.
So, yeah. So
it's
I
like
rock
Evil
up
with 2 L's or something, though, right?
Yeah, double L. But no, you can see why they say Dr. Charles, because people will be like, I'm not coming to see Dr. fucking Evil.
Not to check out this pain in my ass.
So I Thursday
You've got
morning,
Dr. Evil to check out your hemorrhoid.
Yeah. Thursday, my hemorrhoid. Thursday morning, I go and I see Dr. Evil. While I'm in the waiting room, my missus's friends are all in there, and they're like looking at me like I'm going, please don't ask why I'm here. Please don't fucking ask why I'm here. They're all in the waiting room.
Why are you here, Floyd?
Yeah. They didn't ask, thank fuck. I went into Dr. Evil. I tell him what's going on. He goes, yeah, sounds like a hemorrhoid. Get up on the bench, take your pants off, bend over. So I do that. He's looking and he's like, mate, this isn't a hemorrhoid. This is a giant pimple, like a pimple or something like a big pimple. Like he goes, it's red. He goes, it's coming from the inside of you to the outside of you. It's got a big, he said, I can see the head, a yellowy, whitey head on it. It's a pimple. And I've got instant relief. I don't have a fucking hemorrhoid. So I'm like, yes, no hemorrhoid. And then I'm thinking, I say to him straight away, pop it. Can you pop it? Like get the pressure out of it, pop it. And he's like, I am not popping it. Like, I don't know if he didn't want to go near my hairy asshole, but he's like, I am not popping it.
So he goes, my sphincter zit, Dr. Evil.
There's the song.
That's the song right there. That's the chorus right there.
Yeah. So he won't pop it, but he says to me, I will give you antibiotics and you come back. If it doesn't go away in a few days.
It?
Yeah, because it was infected.
You said it was really infected, right?
Yeah, really infected. And he could see the red had gone around my butt cheeks and down into my gooch. And he's like, it's spreading. And I'd been sweaty and a bit like feverish. So he said, this infection's pretty bad. We'll put you on antibiotics. I said, can I squeeze it? And he goes, yeah, you can squeeze it. You can go home and squeeze it. And I said, yeah. I said, I'll get the missus to squeeze it. And he's like, he looked and he goes, would your missus squeeze that? And I'm like, she will. My missus will squeeze it. And he's like, all right, well, get her to squeeze it and see how you go. And I said, I'll film it. And I'll film it and so everyone can see it. And he's
and so you did. And I got to say, thank you for filming it. I'm going to play the video right now. I'm going to play the video. Let me see. Let me figure out how to do this. Because this has got to be fucking gold right here. There we go. Share screen. And then what do I want to share? This is what I want to share right here. And then we're going to go here and then press play.
Is it a boil, you reckon? Get out of my bumhole. Fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit coming out.
Oh my God.
Not shit. Pass.
This is fucking. I should have drank.
I should have drank.
Yeah, I was going to drink. I should have.
Your wife is a champ.
What?
Ms.
Now this thing
is a champ.
This thing is right on the ring of my sphincter. Like the head is on the ring.
Oh my God.
Please stay at him about.
I'm nearly crying here. This was so fucking painful.
Is she lancing it?
No, she's got 2 Q-tips and she's squeezing the edges and it's just pissing out blood and pus.
Holy hell.
And it felt like she was putting a hot fire poker in my butthole every time she squeezed. It was bad.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I haven't watched this. You sent it to me and I purposely didn't watch it just to watch it with you.
I tapped out in a minute. I tap out in a sec.
Right, you're just like, I can't take it. She is a...
Yeah, but fuck that fucking...
She is a fucking champion. She is a
That's
keeper.
It. Oh, mate.
Barbecue.
She loves popping pimples and she will check anything out. But yeah, so the doctor, he thought that was hilarious. He's laughing and he's like,
you show him the video.
Well, I haven't shown him the video. He actually said, don't send me a video of your asshole, but I could send him that. I think he'll enjoy that. So I'm going to send that to the doctor's surgery for him to check out.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, so all last night after she did that, I just leaked blood and pus. And this morning the pressure is gone.
All right.
I'm feeling a hell of a lot better. And
wiping
hopefully
the butt's okay.
Yeah, no, I haven't wiped it. I'm showering.
Okay.
I just want to shower because of infection. Like the hole is right on the sphincter.
Right
You
next to
don't
the
want to
other
be
hole.
messing with that. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm showering and disinfecting. And actually, a funny thing is when I wish I'd have filmed before she started popping. She pulls out a fucking spray bottle of disinfectant and
Oh,
sprays it on my asshole, and it went all over my nutsack and asshole. Now I don't know if in the US you've got Dettol. I think it's called Cortane B or some shit. Like it's a very
Lysol.
strong,
Okay.
very strong disinfectant. And while she's doing that, my fucking sphincter is on fire and my nutsack's on fire because this shit she sprayed all over. I had to get up and shower and wash it off. It was a fucking hectic night.
That's too fucking classic, man. Well, thank you for sharing your video and your story. I knew this would be fucking comedy gold here, so I was like,
Mate,
we got to get this on.
I straight away thought about the cock zit and I said, sphincter zit has got to be the cock zit. And
Yes.
yeah.
New song, Sphincter Zit. Dr. Evil, can you pop my sphincter zit? Anyway, peace out. I'm gonna run. Great having you on, though. Take it easy, brother.
Thanks, mate.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Barbecue. Barbecue with his sphincter zit story. You're welcome, everybody. Danny Head Case is probably vomiting right now. Yes, you definitely should not eat while listening to this podcast. That's my advice. That's my advice to you. All right, now I'm going over to Will Carroll from Death Angel on the show. Well, Will hasn't gotten back to me, motherfucker. I asked him what his top 3 drum performances are. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go for this fucking song. Well, first of all, this is Will's first record right here that he joins. Relentless Revolution is the opening track. Opening track debut for everybody to listen to Will Carroll and Death Angel right here. Oh, I got to double tap it. Boom. Good stuff, man. Will's a killer drummer. And a great dude. He's like a dude that you want to hang out with. I'm telling you right now. He's like, I mean, he doesn't rage as hard anymore, but he's a fun dude to hang out with. Into the arms of righteous angels right here. Where am I going? I tell you what, though, this song right here, when I saw them the other day, we talked about this for a minute. This song is like a straight up Death Angel hit. The crowd went crazy when they played this song. This is the... What the fuck happened? That's not what I pressed. The dream calls for blood. Fucking rock on that shit. That's a cool little change up. I like that on the up. One of the biggest songs on this record, too, title track. And it's deep in there, too. Track 4. That's cool. That is a cool mix-up, man. I love that little turnaround that happens right there halfway. Shit's a banger, man. Shit is a banger. This is Humanicide, title track off their most recent album, 2019. Actually, technically not their most recent album, but their most recent studio album. They do have a... Where am I going here? They have the Bastard Tracks, which is their latest release, which is some live tracks and some... Yeah, I think this is from a live stream that they did. Deep cuts. But this is their latest studio album, Humanicide. Bow now, down, 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 down. Tell you what, Rob Cavastani's a killer guitar player. I had him on the podcast with Ted. One of my first podcasts, actually. One of my early podcasts, and it was a great podcast. It was probably the first one that really, went on for like an hour, 15, hour and a half. We went deep. It's still up on YouTube, too, if you want to go listen to it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, right now, I want to get you into it. The mighty Will Carroll, Death Angel, here on No Fucking Regrets. Will Carroll.
What's up, man?
What's happening? Wilbur.
Good to see you, man. Robbio.
You too, man. Very good to see you.
Yeah.
Even though it hasn't been that long since I just saw you.
That's true. Obituary last week.
Awesome municipal waste, obituary, enforced gatekeeper, ripper.
Yep. Gatekeeper were sick, man. Their guitar tone was incredible.
Dude, it's fucking like 1989 Left Hand Path Entombed Worship. It's awesome.
Totally.
Loved it. Yeah, I loved it, man. It was good. Municipal Waste was they fucking killed it though to me. Like, everybody killed it. Everybody did fucking awesome. But
yeah, it was a solid bill. I mean, Municipal Waste always has a amazing audience, like there's a lot of audience participation going on with that band, just a lot of energy. Yeah.
Their singer's very lovable.
Totally. Doing the jump rope with the mic cord and everything.
It's so dumb, but it's so fucking just funny and fun and thrashing of the Christ and the fucking, all that shit.
Totally.
Yeah. Obituary killed it though. That was we were bonding over Circle of the Tyrants cover that was put out.
That's right, man. That's right. They do a great version of it, man. Cause of Death. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. Slowly We Rot. All the bangers.
Yep.
Yeah. How have you been?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
You on a Celtic Frost shirt right now?
I am.
Look at you go. I love it.
Yeah, I'm keeping it real, but I'm doing good, man. A lot's happened in the past couple years, and I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling good.
Awesome. I was reading. I'm sure. Did everybody start off with the fucking COVID thing? Should we just skip the COVID thing for now?
Yeah, whatever, man. That does happen quite a bit.
Right. I mean, it's such big news, and it was huge news. San Francisco Chronicle and it was just everywhere.
Fox News. Yeah.
Fox News. I know, Fox News. I mean, I think it was because you were, it was probably one of the most high profile bands that got COVID right in the beginning. I think if you got it now, no one would give a shit.
Totally.
They'd just be like, who cares? Drummer for Death Angel we're not even going to cover it. But it was kind of shocking. And then I think the fact that you, out of everybody, suddenly you're in a coma, and it was like, oh my God, this dude's in a fucking coma.
It's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, waking up from it, for the first week, everything was kind of chill. And then the Chronicle did the story. And once the Chronicle picked it up, it kind of snowballed out of control. And then when I started talking about the dreams I had in my coma about going to hell and all that stuff, Fox News really like ate that up and spun that angle on it, you know?
I loved that you saw Satan in your COVID-induced coma, and you saw Satan while you're in hell, and it's a woman.
It was a woman. Yeah, man. Red skin, sitting in a rock throne.
Tits.
Naked? Yeah.
Naked or clothed?
She was topless, and she had like long black leather boots on, and like kind of like, you know, those Red Devil drawings of those like buxom Red Devil chicks. Right, yeah. It was kind of like that, you know.
That's funny. Is she wearing pants? Is she naked? Like, can you see her butt and her cooch and everything?
She was wearing like boots and like a G-string type of thing.
Oh, okay.
And her skin was kind of like simmering with boils, and she wasn't attractive. It was okay. It was very offensive. Totally.
Wow. Trippy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's trippy.
It was
here. I was imagining some like hot, like you just got a hot naked chick in your.
No, no, man. She had like glowing eyes, and she was just laughing at me, and like, yeah, it was really vivid dream. So when I woke up, it was still fresh in my mind, you know, and kind of freaked me out for a little bit. But a lot of these.
Did you talk? Do you remember having a conversation?
No, she was just laughing at me, and I was vomiting blood. And I was like this giant obese creature, like the creature from the end of Weird Science, you know, when Chet.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked like that kind of. Yeah.
So you could see yourself.
Yeah, I was looking from above, kind of watching the whole thing happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we are talking about it.
I mean, it's fucking hilarious. I mean, look, what do they say? Comedy is tragedy over time.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
Your tragedy is now some kind of entertainment for us.
A meme of some sort. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You were some Jabba the Hutt type of figure. And then what was the other thing? There was one more thing. And then there was like, I guess the big thing that I didn't really catch on, but I've since read was just recently when I was, you know, researching you, was just that it got kind of turned into some like Christian born again like thing. Which
it sure did, dude.
It was annoying.
It was annoying and kind of scary because some people that I don't know found my home address and started mailing me Bibles, and like some woman who wrote a book about becoming a born-again Christian, she sent me her book from like Virginia or somewhere. And that was a little frightening. I mean, these people don't mess around, man. They're hunting me down. But I was getting flooded with messages on like, you know, social media and everything, just people saying, I'm glad you've found the light, or I'm glad you've turned. And it's like, no, I haven't, man. I'm not trying to say I'm a born-again Christian. I'm just, you know, now I understand the power of prayer, and this. Before I only believed in things I touched and saw, but now I understand there's something more out there, I guess, you know. But I wasn't saying I was a born again Christian at all. No way.
Right. Yeah, but like the whole idea of manifesting positive energy.
Absolutely.
Making something be positive in your life.
Absolutely. I would have laughed at something like that before all this happened, but I do believe in that now, you know. There's something more.
Yeah. Right on. But you're not praying to the guy who looks like Willie Nelson in the photo that we all
No, I'm not. And I still listen to my evil heavy metal, you know. I haven't changed in that aspect, you know.
I do know what you're saying though, in the intensity that the Christians really like go after people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had Brian from Korn on here who has gotten sober, and he's gotten sober through, you know, turning to Christ. And, you know, he doesn't get up on a podium and, you know, scream from the top about it. You know, you talk to him and he'll talk to you about all the crazy times in his life and being addicted to meth for 7 years. And, you know, and that stuff helped him. But I forget what he said. He kind of ragged on like Christians, you know. He was just like, they go fucking overboard. They go too much. Like, it's just too fucking much. And holy fucking shit, dude. Like the shit storm that it stirred up, just him, kind of off the cuff, just saying, I mean, in the fucking comments, just, you're a fake Christian and you're, like it was like never, he could never be Christian enough, no matter what he said, to even forget, to make up for it. And it was just fucking insane.
Dude, you know who really opened the floodgates for the whole Christian contingent was Michael Sweet from Striper. He reposted my story on his personal page on Facebook or Instagram somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And that just got the ball rolling crazily. Like, just Striper fans were reaching out to me. People who follow Michael Sweet were that's when it all started happening. So I know his intentions were probably good because, he was just like, this is an interesting story. And, but he didn't do me any favors.
Striper hasn't done the world any favors. I fucking hate Striper. I fucking always hated Striper.
Yeah.
Yellow and Black Attack. Never got into it. Never was my speed. I know people like him. Blabbermouth still covers them like beyond any fucking band that deserves coverage. Like,
totally.
So much Striper coverage. It's just like, dude.
And they have a new album coming out. So, and I know that because of Blabbermouth.
Right. Thanks a lot, Blabbermouth. Yeah, that's crazy though. But I think I texted you right around that time, and I'm just, I was happy you're alive, and I was freaked out. Like, I was really shocked and freaked out. I had COVID about a month before that. Not even a month before that, like 3 weeks before that. But I didn't know it was COVID. Like, you couldn't even get really tested.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all, like, the whole tour got it. We went through New York, which was the hot spot at the time. And we went out on we went out on the town and fucking raged. I had 2 days off in New York City. We were licking bathroom walls. And
right.
It was insane. And and then I got, and it was all the symptoms, like the chest and the fucking, the taste and the fever. It kicked my ass. Like, it fucking, I was in a hotel room in Detroit. I've got the heater cranked to 90. I'm in my long sweats and my hoodie. I've got a fucking parka on. I'm under the sheets and I'm freezing still. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck I finally take a bath, kind of get like some level of normality. Like, I finally start feeling warm again. Get out of the bath. Within 15 minutes, I'm fucking freezing again. I get up to go to the bathroom. My knees buckle. I've never had my knees buckle out from under me. I hit my head on the fucking toilet. I couldn't even climb back into bed. Like, I couldn't use my legs. I was like, what the fuck? And
did you miss any shows?
I did. We missed 2 shows. I missed one show in Detroit. I just, like, I couldn't even get out of bed. And then I slept for 17 hours, woke up for 3 hours, went back to sleep for another 12 hours, then woke up, played the show in Chicago. I have zero recollection of it. Apparently it was good, which I was happy to hear about, but I honestly don't. I was just on autopilot, and then we had to cancel the next day after that because I couldn't get it together.
Did anyone else on the tour get as sick as you?
Almost everybody else. Logan was as sick as me. And Logan, see, I thought, like, because I was like, I'm not anywhere near as healthy as Logan is. Logan's like shredded and doing fucking protein things and creatine this and, and him and I were fucking annihilated. And most of us were. And then, but we tried to get tested, and then they gave us a test, and then we got the result back in like 3 minutes. Which, you can't even do that now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they were like, oh, yeah, you've just got the flu. And, Logan and I had the same symptoms. But it was like, whatever. We know we had it. And then our tour manager got back to the UK. He tested positive. He had the same symptoms. So it was wild. And so right when I get back home, I hear about you. And I was like, holy shit. Like, that's fucking scary. I'm sure your family was scared. I'm sure your girl was scared. I read some of the stuff that she said in the press, and it was you slipped into a coma though, or they medically
they put me into a coma.
Yeah, they put you into a coma
because I was struggling to breathe, and that was the only option. Totally.
Yeah. And you've had no long COVID symptoms?
No, man. Surprisingly, knock on wood. Luckily, my lungs.
COVID dick.
No, nothing like that. And breathing's okay.
Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah, there was no scarring on my lungs or anything like that. I had heart failure during the coma as well. So I kind of died there for a second, I suppose you could say. But my heart didn't take any damage either.
What,
so
during the coma?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, you're lucky.
Totally.
Really lucky.
You know, a funny story that I don't think I've told anyone about. Like the last show of that tour got canceled because of COVID. Everything was shutting down, you know. So our last show was in Germany, and that got canceled. So we had a night off, and you know, I just thought I had like end of the tour fatigue or something, you know, it's the normal thing. I was feeling a little worn out and run down, but we all went to a steakhouse that night, us and Exodus, all of Exodus and most of Death Angel and our crew. And they were sitting at their table. We had our table, and an hour passed and no one had gotten any appetizers or anything, salads, anything. So we're like, what the hell is going on? And our server told us that the chef or the cook in the kitchen collapsed and he had to get rushed to the hospital. And no one ever talks about that. I mean, maybe that was the source of the COVID. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was already feeling under the weather, and there were a couple of people already sick on our bus. But I mean, it was weird. So the guy got shipped off, rushed off to the hospital, and our servers had to prepare our meal. And one of them was feeling under the weather as well, they told us. So it is a weird situation, and we all kind of forgot about that because I come home and I'm in a coma. But when I remember that, I'm like, you know, I mean, something's up there, you know. And I couldn't taste my steak or my scalloped potatoes or anything. So
wow, well, so you already had it. You already had it then.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't taste anything, but I didn't know that was a symptom at the time, you know. And then the flight home was just a nightmare.
Right. Are you just fucking dying on the plane? Like,
yeah, man. And I remember watching the movie Doctor Sleep. You know that movie Doctor Sleep? It's the sequel to The Shining. It came out
for The Shining. Huh.
I didn't know it existed either, dude.
Never heard of it.
And I was on the flight, and Zetra was like, "Oh, you should watch Doctor Sleep. It's a sequel to The Shining." So I'm kind of like sitting in my chair, like feeling like death, but watching this awesome horror movie. So it was kind of a weird dynamic, you know. It's a really good sequel. You should check it out. Is it
Stephen King? Like it's connected to Stephen King somehow?
I think he was involved in it. And Ewan McGregor plays Danny, the little kid, but he's full grown now. He's an adult, alcoholic cokehead. And it's fucking good, man. It's really good.
Wow. I mean, that's a bold move, making a sequel to that movie.
Totally. Yeah. Especially that long after, you know?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So that movie has a weird spot in my heart. You know, like when I think of it, I think about when I was feeling like death.
But it somehow cheered you up.
Right? Sure.
What you come home and then, but now you're good, right? Like you're all good. I was reading that. I guess you did a follow-up story with Decibel where it's like you kind of like, I can do all the things I need to do. Like your stamina is back, and that's awesome.
Yeah, man. The hardest thing to bounce back from was learning how to walk again, because I was in a coma for 12 days, and then I was in the hospital for an additional 5 days, and my legs were useless, dude. I mean, I didn't know atrophy sets in that quickly, but just being inactive for 12 days, my legs were toast, man. So when I came home, I had a walker, and I couldn't get from the bedroom to the bathroom without assistance of some sort. So that was really scary. I mean, you know, I'm a drummer, so I need my fucking legs, you know. But after like maybe a week of physical therapy, I was walking again, and then within like 3 weeks, I started drumming again. So, or maybe a month, I was drumming again. So it all worked out.
What's the first song you play when you get on the drums after being? Dude,
that's funny. That's a great question. It's the same song that I warm up to backstage before a show, or whatever. It's a song by the band Coroner called "No Need to Be Human," and it's got like a very slow double bass pattern, but it goes out through the whole song. So it's a test of endurance, kind of. So yeah, that's what I jammed on. The very first thing I jammed on. No need to be human. Yeah.
Nice. I'll play that in the intro. Like I want to hear this now.
All right.
That's good. You play, I mean, can you play for a while, or do you just kind of like, I'm gonna jam for 10 minutes and then kind of call it a day?
No, man, I jammed for like an hour and felt confident enough to jam with other people. So I got together with my older brothers a couple days later, and we jammed on a whole set of like Bowie songs and Cheap Trick and stuff like that. But we jammed for like 2 hours, and they couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe it. And yeah, there's been no problems with that, thankfully.
Is this you got your own studio, or is this like the Death Angel studio?
Oh, I have my own studio in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, that I share with my brothers.
Okay.
I have a covers band with my brothers called My Three Sons.
Oh, wow.
And we do like like Bowie and Cheap Trick and Aerosmith and 70s stuff. But yeah, that's our studio. So I met them there, and I made sure I was completely rehabilitated before I jammed with Death Angel. I didn't want to waste anyone's time,
Right. Yeah. Just getting into the flow again.
Totally.
I know you love your Bowie.
I do, man. Oh yeah. Like late 70s Bowie, like the weird stuff like Lodger and Low and Heroes, that shit. That's the shit I love with Brian Eno. That's And
your brothers, is that like, do you start jamming with your brothers? Like, are those the first people you jam with as a kid?
Yes, absolutely. We jammed in the garage.
These kind of songs?
Totally. Yeah. Like Kiss and yeah, totally. That kind of stuff. Van Halen, whatever. Like classic 70s rock and early 80s stuff. But yeah, that's who I started out. That's who I cut my teeth with, was my brothers playing with other people.
It's a bass guitar singer or somebody who sings?
All three of us sing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You sing too?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I did a lot of that in old Granddad, I was screaming,
right.
But yeah. I have the coordination to do it.
So you guys are doing like 3-part harmonies and stuff, or you're just trading off vocals?
Yeah, we're not doing harmonies. We're just trading off vocals, like the trashier rock and roll songs, like Johnny Thunders or New York Dolls. My brother Mike sings the David Bowie songs. I sing, and my brother Jim will sing like Aerosmith or whatever. Well, we try to sing these songs. You
guys play around though.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I just played my first bar mitzvah like 4 or 5 months ago. Dude, we played a bar mitzvah in Oakland in someone's backyard. It was it was one of the first gigs I played coming back from the whole lockdown. It was the weirdest thing, but it was fun though, man.
That's awesome. Did you and your brothers jam like shows when you were learning how to play stuff? No, we didn't start playing together live until like the 90s, like the late 90s maybe. Yeah. You guys would, when you first start jamming, you're jamming like in your
garage. In the garage.
Okay. All right.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to come from a musical family and have, siblings that were encouraging, and there was always music around and instruments around. So it was a natural progression for me to go from playing baseball or whatever to go into playing music, I started playing drums when I was 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your brothers.
With my brothers. Yeah.
That's fucking young.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. But they weren't playing in bands that were doing anything.
No, neither one of them never really pursued music as a serious thing. They both were good players and loved to do it, but not really. No, like my middle brother, Mike, he's been in a few bands over the years, and the two of them had a punk rock band in the 90s called Moss. So they've done it a little bit and they've dabbled a little bit, but I was the only one who wanted to make a life out of it and, ruin my life.
Get COVID and almost die.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're going to almost die, that's one of the cooler ways, I guess. like being on heroin, COVID-induced coma.
Yep. Yeah, me and Nikki Sixx can swap stories of near-death experiences.
No, we're glad you're here, man.
Thank you, man.
Glad you're here. You guys, I told you this the other day, and I'll say it again. And I said this already on the podcast after I saw the show, but Death Angel fucking killed it at that show the other day.
The
Testament
the Fox
Exodus,
Theater.
The Fox, the Testament Exodus. Dude, you guys can't. I mean, like, I don't think I've ever seen an opening band just fucking explode off the stage and have the crowd with them like that. I was like, holy fuck. Like it was awesome, dude.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Lights, sound, fucking vibe. It was killer.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely rehearse a lot, and I think it shows when we play. And I was fucking nervous as hell for that gig too, man. I don't normally get nervous, especially for hometown gigs. I don't really get nervous, but I was definitely pacing around before the show.
What do you think it was?
Maybe it's just our first live appearance since I almost died. So maybe I had a lot to prove or something. Like maybe people had speculative minds that like, can this guy still do it? Can he pull it off or whatever? So I think there was extra pressure on me a little bit before going on. But after the first song, I was okay. But the first song, I was holding my breath during drum fills and stuff.
You're like, breathe, motherfucker, breathe.
Yeah, totally. But I'm glad it turned out well, man. It was a hell of a fun night.
It didn't show. I can tell you that. Like, there's
Cool.
I mean, you just look totally normal and relaxed up there. Like, I don't think anybody. I mean, you're saying it now, but nobody would have known.
Right. Cool. I fooled them.
It was great. I had a blast. That was a good show. I had a good time.
Definitely, man. We're going to be doing that tour in like a month or so.
Right. That starts pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it starts April 9th in San Luis Obispo.
Congratulations. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
this has been rescheduled now like 5 times or something.
Seems like it, man. Yeah. Seems like it. I mean, this is like the continuation of the tour that almost killed me and made everyone sick over 2 years ago, So now it's starting back up, and it's a long time coming, and we're all excited to fucking go out there. Hell yeah.
Who does Testament have playing drums?
I have no idea.
Oh, don't know. Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking it would be Nick Parker because he announced that he was going on a U.S. tour sometime soon. So it seemed like maybe it's him, but I don't know. I don't know for a fact at all. I haven't heard anything actually.
He'd be good. I guess Bostap was in Testament for a minute.
Yeah, for an album or two. On 2 albums. No, one album.
Yeah.
But he'd be great, man. I mean, perfect replacement.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now either. I mean, he's been kind of quiet.
Yeah. Since Slayer wrapped up.
Right.
Yeah. No, good for you. That'll be fun.
Man. I can't wait. This will be your first tour in 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still you're a legendary partier. Your reputation precedes you. Do you find that post almost basically dying that you're maybe slowing down or
absolutely
you got to kind of you're not as old as a dinosaur as I am, but you're
absolutely although it wouldn't show at the obituary show.
I know we drank a lot that night. I got fucking hammered. I was like, holy shit.
We did, dude. It
was fun. It was a fucking blast.
It was a total blast, but I had like a 2-day hangover after that, man. Like I haven't gone big like that since before COVID. So yeah, I've slowed down and I'm definitely more cautious and not just of my own health, but just cautious of the people I'm around. Sometimes maybe they don't like to see me wasted and being a loudmouth as I do get on late night bus trips, So
I think you were telling me that the boys had a little talking with you right before COVID. Like, dude,
they did, dude. I mid tour or like towards the latter half of that Bass Strikes Back tour, they did have a talking with me backstage after a show. Like I had kept everybody up the night before partying with Lee Altus on the bus, listening to rap, and they had enough, man. I don't blame them. I totally understand. At the time, I was like, "Fuck you guys," but I get it, And then
who sits down with you? The whole band.
The whole band did.
Yeah, and who does the talking? Like who's
Mark?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark's probably the closest to the lounge, and he's just like, dude.
Yeah. Well, he's also like a big partier in the band as well, but he was just like, look, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, but you're just going too far. And he was right, man. He was right. So, and the band was right. And and 3 weeks later, I'm in a coma. So I mean,
Wow.
maybe if I wasn't drinking a bottle of Jameson a night, which I was at that point.
Wow, dude. That's a lot.
Yeah, if I wasn't drinking a bottle of Jameson a night, maybe I wouldn't have gotten sick. Obviously my immune system was way down, and I wasn't taking care of myself, and always hungover and shit. So yeah, all of that, taking all of that into consideration, yes, I've slowed down, and I mean, I still drink, I still have a good time, but I try not to go overboard as much as I used to.
Do you limit yourself to like days that you drink? Like, I won't drink this day to that day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I DJ in San Francisco every Saturday night at a club or a bar called The Willows. I do like a metal night for me and my buddy Manny, DJ for 6 hours. So I know on Thursday nights I'll be drinking. People buy me drinks. I get free drinks at the bar. I'm there from 6 to midnight. So, I might go the first 2 hours, 3 hours without a drink, but eventually I'll have one. So yeah, I always know Thursdays I drink, and maybe one other day in the weekend or in the week. But I try to limit it to 2 days a week I'll drink. And even if I do drink, I try not to get hammered. So, Obituary was definitely a celebration for sure, man. It was hella fun seeing you and everybody. And I wasn't saying no that night. Everyone was like, "Hey, you want to drink? Yeah, sure." Right. Very fun.
When you, I wanted to talk to you about the DJing thing too, because I think that's killer. That you're like, I didn't know you had a partner. I just thought it was you who was doing the whole thing. But so you're doing a DJ thing, and you're doing it quite a bit. I'm seeing like you're doing it. You just doing it in Oakland the other night where you had like a metal, I don't know, swap meet or whatever. Where
exactly.
Bands could come in and sell their merchandise. Nobody performed, but you did the DJing, and then local bands all sold merch and promoted themselves, networked, whatever.
Yep. That was hella fun. Okay, that one I did by myself because it was only like it was like 4 hours. Like when I DJ at the Willows in San Francisco on Thursdays, it's 6 hours. So that's just a little too far to go by yourself. I mean, that's a lot of records to bring. 6 hours, dude.
What is it, 8 to 2 a.m.?
It's 6 to midnight.
Oh, 6 to midnight. Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of records to bring to fill up 6 hours. So I need help with that one.
Are you actually bringing records?
Vinyl. I do only vinyl.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, it's backbreaking work, man. I mean, those things aren't light.
Why don't you just bring everything on a fucking Spotify? Like,
because there's no romance there, man. Like it's people like to look at the records, and it's an interactive
so you
thing.
Like you show them like this is the record that I'm playing, or whatever.
I have a little display thing. I put the record up in front of the turntables, and people walk up and take pictures of it. They're like, "Whoa," So it's like an interactive thing, and I don't know. I just feel like a fool just having a laptop and pressing a button, man. I want to put the work in, I put the groove in the record, and it's just fun. I enjoy it.
And you're blending it. Like, are you, when you like, if you're like a DJ at a club, like a dance club, you're trying to keep like the tempo the same, so you're getting the thing.
Sure.
Are you trying to do that too?
Yeah. Like if a song fades out, I'll make sure the next song has a fade in of some sort, and nothing too jarring in tempo change or stylistic change. Like I wouldn't go from like Suffocation to Motley Crue or something. You know what I mean? Like I'll make sure it was like there's peaks and valleys, and they all make sense. So I am conscious about what I'm playing and what kind of flow happens.
I'm always curious about that with DJs, because I know, like, I don't know if you've heard this, but that there was a festival that just got announced that did like insane business. It was called the When We Were Young Festival. And it was like, it's basically like all the emo stuff. So like My Chemical Romance and The Used and, a bunch of that stuff. And it's got some modern bands, but part of the reason that they did that was because all over America, there's been emo nights on weekends where it's just a DJ coming in playing in emo shit from the 2000s, and it like apparently does fucking crazy insane business, like 1,000 people for just a dude not carrying vinyl.
Yeah, right.
just pressing the space bar, and then they based it off of that, and then it was a huge success. So I'm curious, like, what's the stuff that when you're playing these metal nights, like what's the shit that everybody's like, I don't know if they get on the dance floor, but like everybody headbangs or everybody just fucking rocks out or whatever?
I mean, not to sound cliche, but like it's Slayer is definitely one of them, dude. Like if I play anything from Hell Awaits or Rain and Blood or South of Heaven, there's always people getting up and pushing each other or headbanging, or a glass will shatter, drinks will spill. So yeah, Slayer is definitely a favorite. And a lot of new wave of British heavy metal, like Satan and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
People really get into that stuff too, man.
Okay.
Like Diamond Head, like old stuff like that.
Wow, like that old, huh? Wow, crazy.
Yeah. Especially Satan, man. That band, I didn't realize there were so many Satan fans in the Bay Area, but them and Angel Witch. When I play Angel Witch too, people get really into that.
I love Angel Witch. I
man.
had the Satan record. It was good. I mean, if I had to pick between them and Angel Witch, I was way more into Angel Witch.
Me too. Oh, absolutely. So, but the cool thing at that thing I did on Saturday in Oakland with all the bands selling their merch, the best part of the night was when Chris Contos came up when I was playing Circle of the Tyrants, and we air drummed the whole song together, the entire song, and everyone was filming it and shit. Yeah, that was fun.
That's cool. What do you do like for? I'm curious though, like. There was an era, and Machine Head kind of came about in that era where there was no vinyl. Like, our first like 4 albums like was just CD.
Yep.
Maybe cassette. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
there was a kind of a period in there. I mean, I guess some of them have been reissued, but like, what do you do do you play any of that era where there was no vinyl?
So yeah, a lot of those albums are coming out now on vinyl, like Burn My Eyes and just mid 90s to late 90s stuff. So I'm picking them up and buying them. But at the time, obviously, I was just buying CDs. That was my only option.
Yeah.
But, the 90s were kind of a golden era for heavy metal vinyl because no one wanted them. The price for them was plummeting. Like, so I remember going to a record store in Hollywood, like in 94, 95, and buying like the entire Venom discography on vinyl for under $100.
Oh, wow.
So it was like all the full lengths, all the live albums, all the singles, everything, So no one cared about vinyl, especially heavy metal vinyl in 1994, 95, 96. So, dude, I would just ransack record stores and just fucking stock up. So the bulk of my record collection, I was collecting records since the 80s, but the bulk of my collection has come from shopping in the 90s, man. Golden age. And now all those records, like a copy of black metal would be like $50 now or something, right? On the low end, so heavy metal vinyl has soared in prices and it sucks, but it doesn't suck for me so much because I already bought them. So, I have all the albums I want pretty much. So
the Warhead EP probably is worth bank now.
Totally, man. Yeah. But, so for 90s releases, I'm buying all the reissues. I have the Burn My Eyes reissue. I think Back on Black put that one out. Do you know who put that out? The Burn My Eyes reissue?
It was through Rhino. Like it wasn't sanctioned by us. They didn't even fucking tell us about it. We were kind of pissed off at them actually.
Right.
They included a bunch of demos that they didn't own, and we were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Right.
So
yeah. So that's how I'm filling up the 90s gap now with all the reissues.
But it's still like mid to late 80s is like the most popular stuff that you play. I'm just trying to get like an era,
Oh, trying to get a scope? Like, yeah. I play like 75% 80s and 70s records.
Gotcha.
And then, I'll throw in like a Suffocation or whoever, like stuff that's more recent, but for the most part, it's 70s and 80s for sure.
I mean, do you play like a new Cannibal Corpse song or do you
dude. I buy new records. Yeah. I have the new Cannibal. I play that all the time. I play the new Exodus. Shit like that. Totally.
Right on. So how does that stuff go over? Like
Exodus so far, the 3 or 4 times I've played them at my DJ night and at the thing in Oakland goes over well, man. That album's well received. And people know it's Exodus right away, dude. As soon as you hear that razor sharp guitar tone, like people know.
Razor sharp guitar tone.
Yeah.
Fuck. I love it.
So that definitely goes over well, man, for sure. You know what artists, and I keep on trying to push it down people's throats, but it never gets a positive response, is the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I love that first album, dude. I love it.
Come on now, Will.
But people don't like it, man.
Could it be the all pink outfit with the all pink amps and the all pink drum set?
That and the out of key, out of tune solos going way too fast. Yeah. The shrill madness.
I don't even know if I know of Vinnie Vincent's. What's the Vinnie Vincent hit? What's the hit that he had?
Boys Are Gonna Rock.
The Boys Are Gonna Rock. Have you watched that Peacemaker show?
I have not. No.
So Peacemaker, I just finished up the series last night. Peacemaker is a offshoot of the second Suicide Squad. So there's two Suicide Squads. One's called Suicide Squad. Then there's the Suicide Squad.
Right.
And John Cena was a character in the second one called the Suicide Squad. And then his character was Peacemaker. Now there's a series called Peacemaker, which is based off of all those DC characters.
Yeah, it's to do with the helmet, right? The gold helmet.
Do with the helmet.
Yeah.
The tights and the red shirt. And it's pretty funny, pretty raunchy, and pretty gory and violent. And John Cena is pretty fucking funny. But the thing that I think is pretty classic about it is that it's all like the D-League glam bands from the 80s have all got their music in there. And that the whole premise of the show is only D-League glam 80s, cock rock bands. And every fucking song is about rock.
Right? Okay.
Every single song. It's just like, oh my, he wears a Pretty Boy Floyd shirt. I'm like, Pretty Boy Floyd, come on now.
Well, yeah, Vinnie Vincent's right in that category, man.
Yeah, he might have even been too big for it, because he was in Kiss. So
right.
Like, you're like C League.
Did you see Iron Maiden on the Somewhere in Time tour at the Oakland Coliseum? Did you go to that tour?
Is that the one where they had the ice castles all over the place?
That was a follow-up tour. Somewhere in Time was like a futuristic, like Blade Runner type of scene. Anyways, Vinnie Vincent opened that show. He opened that leg of the tour. Okay. So he actually did make it to arenas on his own for a second. Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that one. I might have kind of bailed on Maiden around that era.
Most people did.
I did. I saw the Somewhere in Time with Guns N' Roses opening at the amphitheater at the Shoreline.
That was Seventh Son.
Oh, was that Seventh Son?
Okay. Yeah.
And then I saw them on Peace of Mind. I saw them on Number of the Beast opening for Scorpions.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing Maiden. That was sick. It was fucking awesome. And I saw them one other time somewhere in
probably there. Power Slave when they had the pyramids.
Yeah, but I can't remember where it was. I don't know why I don't remember that one very clearly. But I saw it was Maiden and Saxon for Maiden
Peace of Mind.
Saxon for Peace of Mind. Yeah,
and Fastway, right? Yeah, Saxon and Fastway.
Yes. Yeah, Fastway. Did you go to that?
No, I was too young, but I remember the show happening. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, totally. I wish I was there.
Vinnie Vincent played that. Yeah. I mean, I got to say, of all the Kiss out, I hate Kiss.
I know you do.
I fucking hate Kiss. But out of all the Kiss records, the only Kiss record I fucking like is the one Vinnie Vincent's on.
Lick It Up. You like Lick It Up?
Is that? No, I thought he was on Creatures too.
He plays on Creatures as well. Yeah. Creatures of the Night's a sick album.
Yeah. I think Creatures of the Night has got some fucking great songs.
Totally.
War Machine.
Totally. The title track.
The title track, yeah. I even like what's the opening, the Love It Loud or whatever.
Yeah.
That one, and it's not Still Loving You, but it's
I Still Love You.
I Still Love You. Yeah. Those are some I can jam out on that era of Kiss, and then I also love the disco Kiss. So
I Was Made for Loving You. Yeah.
That's the only other fucking everything after that I fucking can't stand.
Yeah. I've known this about you for years. Like you're not a Kiss fan.
So, and you are the diehard Kiss fan. You've probably seen Kiss every time. And you know what? To their credit, I have seen Kiss when they came through with Anthrax. I went and saw Kiss.
Oh, you went to that show?
This was the unmasked Kiss.
Yeah, dude, I was at that show. It was Kiss at their worst point. It was on Crazy Nights tour. That's when they really popped out. Like they had Bon Jovi's producer for that record, and they totally whipped out. And Anthrax was touring for Among the Living, so they were at the peak of their they're the most thrashiest, you know.
Right.
So they crushed Kiss, man. They blew them away.
They fucking did blow them away. And
That's
I you know what? I've never actually seen makeup Kiss.
Wow. Well,
And, you know, as it gets towards the end, I'm like, I should just go because like I should just fucking go because I'm fucking in a band and I should go see fucking makeup Kiss.
right. Well, prepare to be underwhelmed. I mean, it's too late now, dude. I saw them last year at the Shoreline, and yeah, it was a pretty slow gig. I was like, I mean, you can have as many bombs as you want, but when you're playing the songs at like a snail's pace, every song was really? Just playing everything really slow and lethargic, kind of, man. Like it was hard to get into it, man.
Wow, crazy.
So I wouldn't suggest it.
Okay. All right, all good. I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Not better about myself, but better about that concept.
Right.
Then I can go the rest of my life without ever seeing Kiss, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, just to keep the memories of not seeing them in your head.
Happy. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I just feel like I should. You know, what I mean? Like,
right.
I feel obligated. Some weird sense of obligation because I am in a band.
Well, come on, it's their farewell tour, so they have to come through at least 3 more times.
Right.
You know? So yeah,
seventh year of their farewell tour.
Exactly.
I was like, that's the way to do it, man. I think I'm just going to announce a farewell tour and then tour for like 10 more years.
Totally. I mean, that's what Slayer should have done. They could have milked that for a good another 5 years, man, at least.
Right. Right. Oh, totally. Fucking hell. Yeah. I touched on a little bit on your childhood, and I was just wondering if other than your brothers, was your parents into music? Like, did anybody in your family, like your mom or dad, play music?
Yeah, my dad, for a little while in his young years, was an Irish folk singer and actually put out a record. So,
wow.
Yeah, 45.
Is your dad from Ireland?
Yeah.
Yeah, your whole family's like Irish as fuck, right?
Well, yeah, my dad is. He came here like in his 20s, I guess. But yeah, he's from Limerick. And he put out a 45 like in the
like a single.
A single, yeah, called Tall Timber. And it was this Irish folk music, you know. So he was very musical. He's always singing and stuff. And my mom played piano, but it was my older sister who really turned me on to like rock music. When I was like 5 years old, she brought home Aerosmith Rocks. That was one of the first albums I gravitated to, and Kiss Alive 2, and Van Halen 1, and Zeppelin. And, you know, so she was the one who really was the early inspiration for me checking out music, for sure.
Right on.
Yeah, but very musical family. Like there was always music playing, someone singing or whistling, or it's just always.
Nobody playing drums though.
No one playing drums. And, you know, I wanted to be a guitar player or a lead singer. And when like in the 5th grade or 4th grade, when they start doing music class, I went into the music room and I didn't see a guitar, and they didn't have any vocal classes or anything. So the only instrument that was in there that was anything close to rock music was drums. And I was like, man, I don't want to play the drums. I don't want to be in the background. I want to be up front, you know? But, you know, I didn't hear any tubas or flutes in Kiss or Aerosmith. So I was like, all right, I'll play the drums. So I settled for the drums. And I still can't play guitar.
Well, you can sing. You sang at the Robb Flynn and Friends benefit, and
that's right.
You and Tom Hunting the drummers got center stage.
Yep. Yeah, that was great.
You guys were lavishing in the attention. It was great.
I think I sang Fairies Wear Boots, maybe.
And I think you sang Paranoid too.
Maybe that too. Oh, that's right. I did sing Paranoid. Yeah.
And Tom sang a bunch. Tom sang like 6 songs.
He sang Symptom of the Universe.
Yeah, he sang all the super high, like later Aussie shit.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, no, you go ahead.
Yep. That was great, man. That was a good night.
He came out in the fucking kimono.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, he was great. He was all doing the peace signs and shit. That was awesome.
Totally.
I gotta say, at that Exodus show, you know, not to go back, I'm just kind of jumping around, but I fucking got I totally got welled up, dude, when he stood up. You know, like Zetro gave that awesome speech, kind of propping up Tom and surviving cancer, and I mean, and then he lifted up his shirt and showed the fuck. I was like, fuck, man. I was, having watched that dude since I was 17 years old, I was just like, fuck. Like I don't know why it hit me so hard, but it hit me really hard.
Yeah, man. He's a miracle for sure. And he's a strong individual, dude. Mentally and physically. I love the guy, and I'm stoked he pulled through, man. Like a champ. Yeah. He's didn't phase him at all, really. Like his drumming is everything. I could just talking to him. He's in good headspace, and he soldiered through, man. It's really awesome.
How influential was I'm going to just jump back to the future. How influential is Tom Hunting to your drumming style?
Well, we're both lefties, so that was an early inspiration when I first started getting into thrash metal, and I discovered Exodus. Even though he plays like traditional left-handed, like he does his fills backwards and his hi-hats over here. I play open-handed left hand on a right-handed kit, so I do my fills. Gotcha. Yeah. So it's considerably different, but just the fact that he's left-handed, that alone was a big inspiration for me. But dude, his bizarre placement of flams, like before he accents on a cymbal and the snare, like through that, like really quick little like sharp attacks. I love that shit, man. I try to do it all the time. I completely ripped that off from him. But I love his drumming, dude. I love touring with him, and we've done lots of tours together, and we're always like swapping stories and little tips and talking about drums all the time, and it's just great. It's great. He's a huge inspiration.
Yeah, he's a fucking great dude. Awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite drummers.
Totally.
Just so you know, it is. I just set my timer for this. Hold on, let me do this. It is 2:22 on 2:22.
Oh shit!
Whoa, bro.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's whatever you want it to mean.
Infinity.
2:22 on 2:22. Yeah. No, Tom Hunting. Yeah, I just wonder that, because I think in my opinion, he's one of those, like Lombardo and Lars and Benante get all the love for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if there's a Megadeth drummer that quite gets the love. Maybe like the early, maybe Gar,
or sometimes Nick Menza, but not like that though. I know what you mean.
Tom to me is like deserves to be. If there was a big four of drummers, Tom would be number 4 in my opinion.
Yeah, and of almost all the drummers from the Bay Area and abroad, I mean, he has the most recognizable style. Like when I hear him playing, man, like you could tell it's Tom Hunting, and that's such a hard thing to do, especially on the drums. Like to like be able to express yourself and get your style across so well that you recognize it right away, man. That's fucking awesome, dude. And like hearing an album like Fabulous Disaster, like the second you hear the drums, it's Tom Hunting, like on those like Father Like Son and some of those songs, man. It's just awesome, dude. Totally.
Yeah. What's that one? What's the song that I'm thinking of? The song that starts off with the drums. Maybe it is Father Like Son.
Yeah. I think it is. Totally.
Fabulous Disaster, yeah.
And like the Occasion Hell, like it's just some of those songs, man. The drums really drive that album, man. If it wasn't Tom Hunting playing drums on that record, I don't know if it'd be as good, If they had some faster drummer or just some hotshot drummer who did tons of crazy fills, it wouldn't sound as good, man. Tom Hunting's style is perfect for Exodus,
When you start getting into thrash, you're living in are you living in San Francisco at this point?
Daly City.
Okay. So you're living in Daly City, and are you seeing, is Death Angel the first kind of introduction to thrash, or are you hearing like Accept, or are you listening to KUSF or anything like that?
No, we didn't have that in Daly City, but Death Angel were already like legends in Daly City, dude. I was hearing about them from the age of like, dude, 11 or something, man, like, or maybe even younger, but like they were already legends in Daly City before they started touring the world and putting out albums. So I had heard about them, like there's a bunch of Filipino guys playing metal. I was like, whoa, I didn't know Filipinos could do that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I grew up in the Filipino community, so I was around them all the time. I love them.
Right, totally. But Daly City, there's a lot of Filipinos in Daly City.
Yeah, big time.
It's not surprising they're Filipino.
Totally. And it was just definitely a unique thing, like a all Filipino thrash metal band, all related, all cousins. So they were I definitely knew about them. I hadn't heard their music until a little later, but I definitely knew the name. But yeah, when I heard Ride the Lightning, that changed everything. Like I was already listening to like Accept and Shout at the Devil and early Ozzy and Maiden and Priest and all that stuff. But when I heard and Kiss, but when I heard Ride the Lightning, that was just a life-changing moment for sure, man. I couldn't believe the guitar tone. That's what took me aback. Like, wow, I didn't know guitar could be that rough sounding, and heavy.
Yeah.
And then the double bass break on Fire with Fire. I didn't know drums could do that, and I was like, whoa, you can't do that. Like that's against the rules, man. You can't play. I mean, that's what it seemed like. So yeah, that definitely was life changing.
Who plays Ride the Lightning for the first time?
My brother Mike. He went to the Day on the Green with Scorpions, Rat, and Metallica. Oh, yeah,
killer.
And he was like, "Dude, this fucking band played, man. I think they blew away everybody." He wasn't sure if he liked it or not, but he was like, "Dude, these guys are the heaviest band I've ever seen." So he went out and got Ride the Lightning, and I'd already been seeing the name Metallica on people's jackets by that point. I'd go like to the mall or something, and I'd see some metalheads with the metal up your ass back patch with the toilet.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck is that all about, man?
In retrospect, it's the weirdest fucking thing.
Dude, I mean, yeah. I was like, do I want to listen to that?
But it was so like fucking back then. It was like the craziest thing you'd ever seen. But like now when I look at it, I'm like, that's so stupid. Like
totally.
A knife sticking out of a toilet.
Totally, man. So, yeah, when he brought that record home, and it totally blew me away. And I remember the next thing I got, like immediately I went out and got Peace Sells. Oh, okay. And yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, Peace Sells. And then when I get into more
vinyl, you go by vinyl.
Oh yeah, of course. And then
still have your original vinyl.
Oh fuck yeah. Oh, every single one, dude. That's everyone. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny when I DJ at Willow's on Thursdays, I have all original press, and the guy I DJ with, it's all reissues from like 2 years ago. I'm like, fucking poser. No, I'm just kidding. I love Manny. But the thing that got me into the really, really heavy stuff after Ride the Lightning was an older kid from Daly City who was already in high school, and I was in like 7th grade or 8th grade. He made a dub tape of Hellhammer's Apocalyptic Raids.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, whoa, dude, that was crazy. That was crazy. So that was what introduced me to, I guess, the world of death metal and the heavier stuff eventually.
Yeah, I mean, Triumph of Death was almost comical it's like, like, yeah.
It was agonizing to sit through the whole thing. It's like, Jesus.
Me and my friend used to laugh at it, but we were just like, Jesus, what is, but it sounded so heavy. We were like, fuck, what is going on?
Totally.
I can't say that I loved it. Like we listened to it and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then the album cover is like the devil with the huge cock and thorns all in it.
Yep.
But when I heard Morbid Tales, that's when I was like, oh fuck. He was like, yeah, this is that Hellhammer dude's band. And I was like, wow, this is fucking savage.
Totally. On that tape too, it was Hellhammer, Apocalyptic Raids, Slayers, Haunting the Chapel. That was my first introduction to Slayer, was Haunting the Chapel.
Wow.
That's a good way to start, man. I love that EP, dude. Oh man.
Fuck yeah.
And I think Melissa was on that tape as well. And I didn't know what to think of Merciful Fate.
No.
I didn't like it at first, man. I was like, what the is this too left of center for me, and the vocals
are super high.
And even just the eerie vibe of the guitar interplay, the whole thing is just, I wasn't ready for it, man. So that took a few weeks or months to get into, but of course.
So the first thing that grabbed you was Hellhammer.
For the super heavier stuff, yes.
Okay, wow, crazy. Yes. Not Slayer.
I mean, Hellhammer was on side one, so I heard that first.
Okay.
And then I heard Chemical Warfare. And I was like, oh shit, okay, this is more advanced and a lot tighter. And a lot more going on. But yeah, it was Hellhammer. That's the first time I heard like real evil stuff, I guess,
Yeah, and by this point, you've already been playing drums with your brothers doing the Kiss and the fucking...
Yes.
So you immediately just switch gears and start trying to learn Hellhammer songs and
yeah, like it almost happened overnight. You know, I was totally into Rat and the Crew and, you know, stuff like that. And then overnight, after getting Ride the Lightning and then hearing that tape and getting Peace Sells, I stopped buying those kind of records. Like, I didn't buy Rat's fourth album, you know, like I was into them for the first three, and I discovered the heavier stuff.
Were good. Yeah, the first three were good.
Fuck yeah, man.
Out of the Cellar EP.
And Invasion of Your Privacy. That's got some good stuff on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
the first two Motley Crues.
Oh yeah, still do.
They lost me when they started wearing polka dots and pink.
Yep.
On the Theater of Pain. I was like,
It was kind of perfect timing, like when these bands started sucking, and right when Metallica was coming up, and, you know, it all went hand in hand, you know, because I was so betrayed by the Priest with Turbo, and I was betrayed by the Crew. I was way into the Crew for the first two albums. And then when I saw the back cover of Theater of Pain, I was like, oh no, man. And then I saw the Smoking in the Boys Room video. I was crushed, dude. Right. And I never went back. I never really went back to the Crew. Totally awful.
Yeah.
And that was it for bands like that, you know. I just fully went on into thrash and then eventually death metal, you know.
Yeah. I gave Crew a chance after that. I was like, I didn't hate, like later on, I was just like, I can kind of get into what's the fucking ballad, the piano ballad?
Home Sweet Home?
Yes, Home Sweet Home. Yeah, I was like, that's a good song. You know, just a great pop song.
I'm kind of a creature of habit. So, like, just because I was such a fan of them earlier, I went as far as to Girls, Girls, Girls. I bought that album. Okay. And I was already, like, my walls in my bedroom were already covered in Merciful Fate, King Diamond, everything evil. Yeah. But I bought Girls, 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 and I just wanted to punch myself when I was at home listening to it. I was like, dude, this is terrible, man.
That record's pretty trash.
Yeah.
I can jam on a couple of Dr. Feelgood songs, though. I do like Kickstart My Heart. I think that's a jammer.
And the title track is pretty heavy. Totally.
Yeah. But after that, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But totally. Those first two, I probably stared at Shout at the Devil, that inside, like, this is the fucking coolest band I've ever seen.
Totally.
You pull out the slide, and it's got the big pentagram on the fucking disc thing, and I was like, okay, like, this is fucking cool. And even if the songs weren't really, other than the title track, nothing's really that evil. Like, it's all just kind of about chicks.
Totally.
Fucking chicks, and basically too young to fall in love, and like, but it's still. Red Hot was a banger, and I was like, all right, they were heavy still.
And the funny thing about Shout at the Devil is, like, I've read that Tommy Lee was actually a big Venom fan when he was really young, like in like 81, 82. And there's actually pictures of him wearing a Welcome to Hell shirt. If you you see some old photographs, yeah. And Nikki Sixx kind of liked Venom too at the time. And, you know, you can kind of hear Venom riffs on Shout at the Devil.
Right.
Like they're cleaned up, you know, and, you know, they're not presented the way Venom would present them, but they could be Venom riffs, like the jun, 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 jun. There's a lot of that kind of stuff, you know?
Right. You know, now that you point that out, that's funny. I can totally hear that.
Yeah, like Welcome to Hell and Looks That Kill. Those riffs aren't that far off.
They're pretty fucking close now that you say it. Like, I've never even thought about that. Dude, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
They're really close.
Totally, man.
It's really close. Holy fuck.
So, you know.
You should do it at your DJ thing. You should do a mashup.
I should do a compare and contrast. Oh, yeah, mashup totally with Shout at the Devil. They're almost the same tempo, too, man.
Yeah. That'd be pretty funny. People would be like, what?
Totally. Blasphemy.
It would be good. No, that's, yeah, I agree with you, though. Like, I can see with that, and you were right. Like, that did come, and even like for me, Maiden, I still always loved Maiden, but they changed just enough. Like, even Power Slave, they started losing me a little bit. By that point, like, we're already at like Ride the Lightning, Peace Sells, you know, Hello Waits is already out. I'm like, I'm all in over here. Like, this is fucking sick.
Totally. I love Power Slave, but I can see where you're coming from with that. But for me, it was the follow-up, Somewhere in Time, was just such a huge jump in a different direction with the keyboard, guitars, and everything. Like, it just really softened their touch. Every major label metal band at the time
did that, right?
I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I mean, it's just, it was all at the same time, like 85, 86. All those bands just tanked, you know? So it was a changing of the guard, you know?
Yeah. And are you in a band at this point when this starts happening?
Yeah, I started playing. My first band was in 1987 called Armament.
Armament.
Yeah,
Good. That's heavy.
it's a good name, and on paper it looks good. But being from Daly City, a lot of my friends were directly from the Philippines, and English wasn't their first language. So a lot of my friends couldn't pronounce our band name, and they would call us Ornament.
You're like, what the fuck, dude?
Or Army Men. What is Army Men playing? It's like, dude, so the name didn't work all that well, but we were a terrible band, like just kind of like a mixture of the Misfits. We were doing Misfits covers and kind of like a mixture of the Misfits and the Voivod, and not pulling either one off. Yeah, it was a mess. But
I think that, well, you haven't touched on your punk rock. That's funny. Like, you haven't even mentioned, any.
I'm not much of a punk rock guy, but the people I was playing with in my first band loved the Misfits, and they were all about that.
And you're just trying to jam with somebody, like you don't fucking care what you're playing, right?
Exactamundo. But we were playing shows already. We were playing house parties and stuff in Daly City and San Francisco in '87. And our first show was at
how old are you at this point? Like, what are you still in high school?
I'm in junior high going into high school. Yeah.
You started fun.
Yeah.
House parties.
Our first show was at
You're probably drinking and smoking and everything at this point, huh?
I was drinking some beer. Yeah, I didn't start smoking weed till like the end of high school. But our first show was at this place called the Pony Express Pizza Parlor. Do you remember that place, the Pony Express in Redwood City?
Yeah.
So that's where I played my very first gig with Armament. Yeah. And then
that's not a house party.
No, it's not a house party. It was a real place where people had to pay money to go in, and only that place.
This is your first show that isn't a house party.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
But you're playing house parties in DC and
in San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Those must have been pretty fun, though.
Oh, dude, cops showing up.
This is kegger parties and shit, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cops showing up. One raging party near top of the hill, Daly City, but on the San Francisco side of the hill, broke out in a fight. And the fight broke out when I was loading my drums out of the house. And these two groups of dudes decided to use my drums as weapons. Oh, I mean, one guy had a floor tom and bashed it over someone's head. And and I was just screaming around, going, not the snare. Because that was the only thing on my kit that was actually nice. I had a nice snare drum. Right. So I was just begging this dude, this huge, like sunset skinhead pod kind of guy. He had my snare in his hand. And he was going to bash this other guy with it. And I begged him, and he was cool about it. He handed it to me. I was like, "Whoa, dude, thanks, man." We fucking riot on.
What's a break down a sunset skinhead pod kind of dude? What's that?
Like
for the listeners,
a fucking 6'5" white boy, skinhead, maybe wearing like an RKL t-shirt. Okay. And, like a punk rocker. Yeah. And he was
very keep laughing t-shirt.
Yeah, totally. He was very intimidating, but he heard my plea and gave me back my snare. So, but yeah, those were wild scenes, man. Playing with other Daly City bands like fucking Corrupted Innocence and Demented, and just lots of. There was a Daly City scene, a lot of.
Yeah, totally. There was a big scene, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of was the scene in a way.
Totally.
Like for San Francisco, like as much as the Bay Area kind of gets this credit, like most of the, the Metallicas, the Exodus, they were all East Bay, and like not even like East Bay, like Richmond and El Cerrito, East Bay. So like
absolutely
up north, and like not in Oakland, not in Berkeley, all the venues might have been there, but they were all from there. Pinole.
Totally.
So Daly City was like the other scene where stuff was happening.
I mean, Death Angel, they're from Daly City. They weren't a San Francisco band until they got older and moved into San Francisco, So,
and I think Rob was from like Concord.
Exactly.
Somebody else was too, I think.
Well, Mark went to high school in Concord as well, man. So yeah, when they first
played, it was Mark that was from Concord. I can't remember. Maybe
both of them, Mark and Rob.
Okay.
Yeah. So that band Armament didn't last very long. We played like the Stone once, the Omni 2 or 3 times, and recorded
Big shit, though. That's big shit. Like, those are the big metal venues of the time.
Dude, our last show at the Stone in 1988 or early 89, we were opening for a band called Apocrypha. Do you remember a band called Apocrypha? They were on Shrapnel, total Shrapnel band.
Yep.
It was Apocrypha, Blackstorm, and Blackstorm was another Shrapnel band, I think. And then us, it's like a fucking barely a Misfits cover band opening the show, you know? So it didn't make any sense, but that was our last gig. And then within a month or two, Ted and I, Ted was in Armament as well. I should mention that. Yeah, he was in Armament.
The whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Okay. So
yeah.
Dead for a fucking long time.
Yeah, I met him freshman year in high school. He was a transplant from another school in San Francisco. It was mid-year, and I was late for a class. I was running to my class, and I saw this Filipino metalhead dude walking by with a "Don't Break the Oath" shirt on. And I stopped it like in mid-run and went, "That's a fucking badass shirt, dude." And I just kept running. And that's how we got to know each other. That
rules. That fucking rules.
Totally. So once Armament broke up, Ted and I...
That would have been pretty rare, too, to see somebody rocking a "Don't Break the Oath" shirt.
Totally, dude. Totally. And especially at my school, Westmore High School, the heaviest those kids got was Metallica. They didn't go any heavier than that, you know. So Merciful Fate, that was unheard of, you know. But yeah, shortly after that band broke up, Ted and I formed Warfare DC, like within a month. And that was me and Ted and his older brother Rob on bass and vocals.
Okay.
And that was like the first real band I was in. Like, you know, we put out some real demos and we played a lot of big shows with, I think our biggest show was probably opening for Death, Pestilence, and Carcass at the Omni in 1990. So that was Carcass's first tour of the States.
I was going to say Pestilence over Carcass. Crazy.
Yeah. Imagine that. Totally, man. But that was a huge show. And that was the first time like we experienced pay to play at its maximum, you know, like our guarantee for that show was $800. And at that time, it might as well have been $1 million. We're like, whoa, how are we going to make $800? We did, though. We sold enough tickets, but
you had to sell $800 worth of tickets
exactly to play
the show.
And if we were a penny short, they'd kick us off the bill.
So this was a thing, you know, for anybody who doesn't remember this era. Like, it wasn't always like this. It used to be just you basically got like gas money, like $10.
Yeah.
So like all the early Forbidden shows were like, dude, we made $10. Like, oh my God, we made $10. Holy shit. Like,
totally
cool. But then somewhere, I don't know, somebody decided that, oh no, we're going to make bands pay to play. So you had to sell X amount of tickets. It was usually like a number, right? Like you had to sell $500 worth of tickets in order to get the show. And if you didn't, and you were often like competing with another band, right?
Oh yeah. Not on that particular show, but usually fuck yeah, there'd be like 3 local openers, and you know, you'd see 3 different flyers for the same show. Call so-and-so at 415, call so-and-so at 510, call so-and-so at 408. Like, what the fuck? You know?
And so if your band didn't sell enough tickets, you didn't get even though you sold the fucking tickets, you didn't get the show because this other band sold more tickets than you.
Yep.
Which was fucked.
And another thing they did to Warfare DC quite a few times is they confiscated some of our gear until we paid them back.
Wow.
The Stone and the Omni.
I never heard about that. Wow.
They both did it to us. One time they confiscated Ted's guitar. Another time they confiscated his amp.
That's fucking outrageous, man.
Yeah, dude.
What
totally.
The fuck?
Totally against the law, man. You know,
right. It's got to be against the law. Like, that's fucking outrageous.
So it was stressful. I mean, if you wanted to play with a band like Prong or Violence or Forbidden or whoever, you had to do some salesman action, man. Like, you had to really work yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was great because you got the opportunity to play with touring huge bands more so than you would now, I guess. But at the same time, you're not getting the gig on your band's merits. You know, like no one's like saying, "Hey, this is a killer band. We want them on the bill." They're just saying these guys have a lot of friends and sell a lot of tickets. You know, so any band could open for Death, you know, or whatever, as long as you had the money for it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of bands started, like rich bands just would buy all the tickets and not care.
Yep. Yeah, totally, dude. And then give them out. Yeah. I can name a few bands. I won't, but I can think of a few bands that would just give out free tickets to their shows and have a couple hundred people see them like on a headlining gig at the Stone on a Tuesday night.
Right.
How the fuck are you doing that? And all of a sudden
everybody knew who they were. You know, they'd have like a 2-page ad in BAM, and you'd be like, "Fuck you!" Like fuck you. Like, who can afford a 2-page ad in BAM that's like a fucking unsigned band? Like, fuck you.
So on one of the Warfare DC demos, I think either your amp or your guitar was used. On our second demo, Lethal Injection, Sean Killian like produced it, I guess. I mean, he was there and helped us out with the demo, and we recorded at Audio Voyage and
Livermore. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to the studio fine with my drums. Actually, Logan drove my drums to that recording session.
Logan Mater?
Yeah.
Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah, truck, and him and Beth rode in the truck with me, and we took my drums up there. And anyways, Ted and Rob were driving their mom's car with their half stacks or their amps and their guitars. They got into a car accident and their gear got damaged or something. And so Ted was minus an amp and a guitar or something. And Sean either got Phil's guitar in your head or your guitar in Phil's head. But I know both you guys. Yeah, so we used some of your gear on that demo.
Oh, right.
And it came out great, man. Of the 3 demos, that's the best one,
Cool.
So, and those 3 demos are being re-released by a label called Dive Bomb Records. They specialize in making compilation CDs of Bay Area bands that never got signed.
Oh, okay.
So like they just put out a Wrecking Machine CD with all their demos on there. So now I
remember Wrecking Machine.
Yeah. And now they're doing a Warfare DC one. So
did Potential Threat ever get signed?
No, they did not.
They need to do Potential Threat next time.
Totally, man. They're still around.
Are they really?
Yeah, man, they're still around. But Warfare DC was my first real experience in the Bay Area thrash scene, I guess, and it was good.
What year is that? Like when is
89 to 93.
I'm going to switch gears on you now to a totally unserious question, but then we'll go back to your life. So, but I'm doing this just because around the time of your age here. So Lars Ulrich and I had a conversation where he pontificates that the reason that people love the Black Album so much is that they lost their virginity to that album. And that's always like, it was the funniest conversation because I was like, the fact that you have to rationalize why your album still sells like 7,000 copies a week is fucking hilarious. But he's thought it through, and that's what his assumption is. So what is the music or the song that, if any, that you lose your virginity to? And paint the scene for us.
Appetite for Destruction.
What's that?
Appetite for Destruction. Guns N' Roses.
Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah. I
Roses.
lost my virginity in 87, and that's around the time that album came out. And
how old are you at this point?
I am 13.
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's fucking young, Will Carroll had game. Holy shit. The gift of gab, apparently.
And you want to hear another funny factoid? Ted Aguilar.
Paint the story for us. Paint the story of your losing your virginity.
She was a freshman. We were both freshmen at Westmore High School, and she was a total death rocker, a total mod chick. She was into The Cure and Depeche Mode and stuff like that. And back then, I mean, I guess it's still the case now, but back then I just found goth chicks really hot, So she had 2 older sisters that were also into like Christian death and all that stuff, and that was my first girlfriend. And I eventually corrupted her and turned her into a metalhead. And it was actually a downward spiral for her. She dropped out of school. When she got into metal, she dropped out of school, and went down a dark path. So I guess
where does Guns N' Roses come into it though? Like that's not goth or like thrash.
Okay, great question. So she loved the Cult. The Cult was her favorite band.
Okay.
All 3 sisters agreed on that band as like the band,
and a former goth band.
Exactly.
Yes.
So they're playing
like Love Removal Machine type shit.
Yeah, exactly. So they all loved the first album, Love, and they were way into Southern Death Cult, like the stuff before they were just the Cult. They had all that stuff. They were way into it. And then Electric came out, and they turned full circle into like a sleazy rock and roll band, you know. The Cult were playing the Warfield, and a band called Guns N' Roses was opening. And so we were going to the show because they were all going, and I like the Cult too. So I didn't know who Guns N' Roses were. And this is back at the Warfield when there used to be seating on the floor. And we sat down in front of the Warfield from like 8 a.m. until the doors opened. We were the first in line. And so we got inside the Warfield. We had the front row, all of us. My brother was with me and a couple other people. We had a big group, like 10 of us. And we had the front row. And Guns N' Roses came on stage. And I've never had such a religious experience seeing a band live as I did seeing Guns N' Roses. Because I had no expectations. I didn't care about them. I was still sitting down when they came on stage. And by the end of the first song, the entire fucking place was going insane, dude. Like, they just shocked it, man. They shocked it. And also I was getting out of that kind of stuff. I'm way out of that stuff. The teased hair and the LA look, you know, I was totally into thrash and getting into death metal. But that's how good they were, dude. I mean, like, that's how powerful they were. And they blew the Cult away. And she was never the same again. She became like a rocker. Like, after that night, she bought a Guns N' Roses shirt, started wearing tight clothes, like got rid of all of her black, like, billowy dresses and all the black makeup and everything. That was all gone, dude. She was a total rocker, metalhead chick from that point on. Gotcha. and then not too much longer after, she de-virginized Ted Aguilar.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! You guys were in good company. You guys were in so much better company than I was when I was 13 years old. Jesus Christ. I should have been hanging out with you guys. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So that was the scene.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So then fast forward back to Warfare DC. You guys break up. Mm-hmm. And then what's the next band after that?
Brood. BROOD.
I don't know if I know this band.
Because, you know, we were a good band. We were totally. I feel
like I know all your bands too.
It was me and Ted Aguilar once again. So we're trying it for a third time. And we were way into the first Fear Factory album at the time. So that's what we sounded like. Okay. Like industrial death metal, you know, that kind of shit. But the scene was so dead here in 93. That's when we formed. Or 93, end of 93. There was nowhere to play. Right. There's no way to circulate our demo. And it was just hard. We were hard pressed to get a gig. So that's why we never
still pay to play.
But like the Stoneman was closing and all the clubs were closing. No one gave a shit about metal anymore. I mean, really, until you guys came along, until Machine Head came along, there was really no metal scene to speak of for a couple of years there, or like any bands really doing anything, you know?
It was rough. Yeah, it was a dark period.
Fuck yeah. And that was a period of Brood. So that's why we
still had to do pay to play back in those days.
Yeah.
Like we had to but like we had to sell fucking tickets and go out there. And, you know, this is like me after Violence. And I'm like out in the parking lot, like, hey bro, buy my ticket for $7.
Yeah, man. So yeah, you know how hard it was. And so that band was just kind of doomed to fail. Like we only played like maybe 10 shows in a couple year period. And, you know, we made a couple of cool sounding demos, but, it just didn't last. It was just too hard. Too much shit was stacked up against us. But from that band, like from the ashes of that band, I was still in that band at the very end. That's when I met the guys in Old Granddad, and that's where Old Granddad like started taking off at the end of 94.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And for Old Granddad, I was also in a band at the time called Mind Zone. When I did the Machine Head tour.
Right.
When I did the Machine Head tour, I was still playing with Mind Zone. And I think we even opened your Trocadero show.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. So yeah, I was kind of juggling around a couple of bands, but Old Granddad was the one that kind of took off, and that was just the right time. I guess people in San Francisco were just had enough of the fucking indie rock thing, you know, and just people wanted to hear metal again, and
What
so we
was
just
Mind Zone. Was Mind Zone indie rock? I can't remember really.
no. Mind Zone was total fucking Pantera worship, like groove, total groove metal.
Okay.
You know, like I remember at that Trocadero show, Burvoy comes up to me after the Mind Zone set and goes, pal. And he says, "Oh, like I don't remember Mind Zone sounding like that before." Because I guess when they first started, they were more of like a heavier version of Jet Boy. Because the two of the guys from Mind Zone were in Jet Boy, that glam rock band.
Okay.
And when Mind Zone first started, they were more like a Motorhead kind of more rockin' LA band.
Okay.
And then when I joined, the drummer they had didn't do double bass. So when I joined, I was doing double bass, and they started writing this Pantera type of music, you know. So, anyways, when we played that Machine Head show, we were full on Pantera, kind of Biohazard, that type of sound, you know. And yeah, Burvoy was like, pal, I don't seem to remember Mind Zone sounding like that before. He was giving me shit, like, because the band's jumping on the Pantera bandwagon, you know. So whatever. And then
Old Granddad was more like stoner noise kind of vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like stoner psychedelic death metal mixture. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the band that I saw the most that you played in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh
I
yeah.
saw Mind Zone a couple times, but I saw Old Granddad like 20 fucking times probably. You know.
Yeah, and we opened the very first 10 Ton Hammer show.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we supported it. Was 10 Ton Hammer, Old Granddad, and Hail It, I believe. Harold O's old band.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So
Kerry King came up and jammed South of Heaven with us that night.
That's right. That's right. I remember
and we covered Witching Hour.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was a fun night.
It was.
I got hammered. I got 10 Ton hammered.
So so anyways, Old Granddad went on for quite a while. You know, we put out 5 albums and did a bunch of shit.
5 official releases though, right? Like
yeah.
Through label and
no, the first 2 we put out ourselves.
Okay.
And then the 3rd album we got signed to a label called MIA from New York. And they had Caroline distribution. So it was kind of a good deal.
Yeah. I mean, that was who Roadrunner was through back on all those days. So that would have been a big distributor.
But the label was a little unhappy with us with our album cover, but they still went ahead and released it. The album was called The Last Upper, and it's a painting of the Last Supper, but Jesus Christ is doing speed. He's doing a line of speed. The Last Upper. And I just remember this is when when a Virgin Megastore was still open and still a chain, and there was a Virgin Megastore on Market Street. That album came out in '99, and I remember they had a fucking end cap with all the Last Upper CDs. I couldn't believe it, man.
That's awesome.
And I was just watching people's reaction. Like I was just hanging out like in the corner, just looking at people, looking at the CD cover, going like this, like, what the fuck is this? Like, so that probably like hindered sales, maybe, but I don't know.
They should have had like a full-on blow. You remember how like they used to have the giant blow up of the album cover? And
Totally.
They should have had that.
But you know, I mean, even though like the '90s were kind of a weird time for metal in the Bay Area and everywhere, but we did okay. Like we were nominated for a Bammy for 2 years in a row.
Right.
We lost, but we were still nominated. I think one year the Deftones beat us, and the other year maybe even like Metallica or someone beat us, like someone that we had no chance of beating. But you know, we were recognized by the press and in the Bay Area, and we did okay for a handful of years there. We did good. A lot of drugs.
Where did the name Old? I always thought the name was just the weirdest name for the music. I was just like, where did this name come from?
It's named after a whiskey. There's a whiskey called Old Granddad. And it's pretty potent stuff. So, and all our lyrics were about, or most of our lyrics were about drinking and drugging and Satan. all that fun stuff.
Drinking, drugging, whoring,
yeah. Yep.
So this is, so I guess I would have been seeing you play all these Old Granddad shows after we took you on the final Burn My Eyes tour.
That's right. That's right.
We released Burn My Eyes, and it's a massive success overseas, like mind-boggling success. And then we go to the Slayer tour here. We tell our first tours with Napalm Death and Obituary.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's a slow build here in America. And even despite the fact that we had the Slayer tour, we go and do a headline tour, and it's the first, and this is a year and a half after Burn My Eyes is released.
Right.
And we got rid of Chris, and then we decided to go out and do this tour anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was originally supposed to be Downset, and then Downset bailed on the tour or something. So then it's just us and Stuck Mojo, who nobody other than like in North Carolina and Georgia, nobody knows who Stuck Mojo is.
Right.
It's still like pre-internet. This is like when bands are like a local hit. But I think Burvoy's got something to do with Stuck Mojo, and so he throws him out. I'd say no. Burvoy's working at Century Media at this point, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So then he's like, I think he signed Stuck Mojo, and so he's like, "Hey, get him on, Dick, get him on." And so I'm like, "All right, we'll get him on." And I always joke about this tour that we ended up nicknaming it the Disaster Tour.
Oh, I know.
Because it was just we had just gone from like playing to 130,000 people at the Dynamo. We sold out, the fucking Brixton Academy, and we're playing to 5,000 people in Germany. And then we come home and it's just like, we're playing to 100 people, sometimes 70 people, more than a few nights, 35 people at a fucking pool hall in Hickory, North Carolina.
Holy. And it was a long tour, man.
It was a really long tour.
I want to say it was like 11 weeks or something like that, man.
It was fucking insanity. Like,
yeah,
we did 9 shows in North and South Carolina.
Yeah. Dude.
If you're a band nowadays, you do 1 show in North Carolina and then that's it. You're done.
Totally.
7 shows in Florida. It was fucking crazy. We did, 5 shows in Georgia.
We were in Florida for like over a week. Totally,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah. every fort in Florida we played. Fort that. And it was a crazy time because we had just lost Chris, and we're having this like rough tour, and like the tours. I mean, we're having fun, certainly having fun on the tour, but the show was rough, And but I just remember like in some ways we had so many. We've been arguing a lot with Chris, and we just weren't getting along. And then, now Chris is gone, and you come in, and you're just like a breath of fresh air. Like you're just a new guy, so it's like, and you're, like I stated earlier, you're a fucking party animal. And it was like, and I just remember like it was really like, even if the show crowd was kind of shitty, like it was always just fun at least hanging out with you.
Totally.
And everybody, and the vibe, we're sharing a bus, 15 dudes on a bus across America for 11 weeks.
Sharing it with Stuck Mojo. Yeah.
Yeah. Sharing with Stuck Mojo. 2 dudes sleeping in the back lounge, 1 dude sleeping in the front lounge.
Yeah.
Like no junk bunks. It was fucking insanity. And just more weed than anybody could possibly even fathom.
Yeah.
Like so much fucking weed at all, and cigarettes. That's all I remember is just everybody, like you'd open the bus door and it was just like, just smoke, cigarette smoke and weed smoke.
A blanket of smoke. Totally.
What are your memories of this tour?
Wow. Holy shit. Where to start? For me, I had never played more than 2 nights in a row ever in my life. Like Warfare DC maybe would play a weekend somewhere and do Friday, Saturday, but that only happened a few times. And this is my first tour ever. And here I am getting launched into this tour within days. Because I only jammed with you guys like maybe for 2 days and the tour started.
Did you do a tryout or I can't remember.
Okay, so
did somebody just recommend you or something?
Yeah, someone recommended me. And my friend Ace, who recommended me to you guys, was like, "Hey, they're doing tryouts right now. They've been flying in drummers from all over the place, and they're jamming. They're over at Jackson Street Studios in Oakland. They want you to come down." And so I actually didn't have a copy of Burn My Eyes because Ted was always playing it, or whoever, people around me were always playing it. I knew the album, but I didn't actually own a copy, so I had to borrow a copy from a friend. And I stayed up all night and air drummed to it in my living room and just memorized all the arrangements, and then went to Jackson Street Studios the next day, jammed with you guys. And then you asked me back a second day. And then the tour was like maybe 2 days after that.
Oh, geez. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So yeah, like I had never played more than 2 shows in a row. And then here I am jumping into my very first tour. And our first run of gigs was 9 shows in a row, I think.
Holy shit. Wow.
It was from Sacramento. It was the first show.
Yeah, Sacramento was the first show.
And it went up into Canada.
Right.
And I had never been to Canada either. So I got to say, like, it was a brutal test. And by like the 7th or 8th show, I was getting fatigued, man. Like, it was hard. I mean, I just didn't know touring was like that, you know? And I was just used to like looking at tour shirts like Kiss or Ozzy, and it's a couple of days and the day off, a couple of days. So doing 9 shows in a row, I was like, holy fuck. And then again, like later on in the tour, I think we did like a 16 show run.
Wow.
So needless to say, I was tired mid-tour, you know, and so I probably wasn't playing to the best of my ability just because I wasn't used to it. I wasn't prepared, man. And I mean, I was prepared. I knew the songs, but I wasn't prepared for the physicality and just the endurance it requires, you know. So that was a good learning experience and a tough learning experience, you know, because like some shows I was letting you guys down, you know, like on the double bass or something, because I was just burnt out, man. I was like, fuck, I'm so exhausted. This is brutal, you know, but I'm thankful for the whole experience. And it was a great learning experience. And some of the best stories ever. Like, I mean, where to start? How about when we fucking trashed the bus?
The food fight in the bus.
Dude.
It's Scott Kelly from Neurosis.
Yes. Yes. We were in Canada. And
yes, we were in Canada, which should have never done anything like this in Canada.
and for whatever reason, I guess
it was Montreal. It was after the Montreal because we linked up with Neurosis for a couple of shows in Montreal. Right?
Yeah, the tours linked up. I think it was just for one show.
Okay.
And I remember Stuck Mojo being furious that they got bumped down to opening.
Right.
And Neurosis were support. And this is the only night of the tour. The only night of the tour where we had hotel rooms. I don't know why, but we parked our bus in front of the hotel where all of us had our own rooms. And what did we decide to do? Throw a party on the bus.
and get completely hammered on the bus and start a food fight on the bus.
And the guys from the Roasters come on and they're hanging out for a little bit. And then once like fucking food starts flying, and bananas and shit, you were covered in banana. And then like someone opened a thing of ocean spray and shot it all.
Shit.
It was raining. It was raining ocean spray like for hours, dude. And I still wasn't doing anything because like I'm the new guy. Like I know my place. But once I saw you, I think you ripped a curtain down or you broke something. I said, fuck it. So I threw a whole thing of orange juice on the TV and the stereo. Oh, and once I did that, the guys in the Roasters all looked at each other and got the fuck off the bus, dude. They're like,
it's time.
We're out of here, dude. And so you pass out in the front lounge. And you have banana smeared all over you and you're passed out. And I think I may have passed out for a little bit too, but when I came to, it was just you and me in the front lounge and destroyed. I mean, the bus is fucking destroyed.
Rash.
And so I got the fuck out of there, dude. And I went to my room and I laid in my bed and I was just waiting for the phone call, dude. I was like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. And like, like an hour passes, and it's Adam. And he goes, Will, were you on the bus last night? I said, yeah. And then he goes, was Rob on the bus too? And I go, well, there were a lot of people on the bus. And he goes, what happened? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, get the fuck down here right now. And so I went down to the lobby, and you were already sitting there. You totally looked like you had been scolded by
Oh my God! I had just had 5 scoldings, like the bus owner, fucking my torment Joey, the bus driver. I was like, fuck.
And we're all sitting there, and our tour manager, I think his name was Lauren. Was that his name?
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. He was yelling at us, and he said something like, there was even, he said something about, there was even bananas stuffed in the toilet. Who fucking does that? And you were sitting next to me, and you nudged me and kind of laughed, like it was you, like I did that. You were, proud of yourself. You kind of nudged me, you were laughing. I was like, okay, well, The weirdest thing that happened during that scolding, you remember the Jim Rose Circus showed up? all these freaks walked into the lobby, and like we're having this
in the hotel where all this is all happening or something.
Yeah, in the hotel lobby. Like we're all sitting like in a semicircle, the whole band and crew, and Lauren's saying like, you know, the tour might be get called off because you're losing your bus and all this stuff. So it was like a heavy conversation, and all of a sudden like these freaks come walking in with their luggage and shit. It's the Jim Rose Circus, dude. It was like the weirdest timing. Crazy.
Don't remember that at all.
You remember that we went through 3 buses on that tour? I think we lost 2 buses.
Okay.
The other bus that we lost, Adam figured out, I don't know how, but he figured out how to get the bus started, and the bus driver was at a hotel sleeping.
Oh, right.
He started
he moved the bus.
He was driving it around the parking lot of like Walmart or some shit. And the bus driver found out, and he left like a couple days later, and we had to get another bus. And then you remember how the tour ended?
Oh, I totally remember. I'll never forget how the tour ended. I'll remember this tour ending till my dying day.
Dude,
you tell the story.
This bus driver, our 3rd bus driver,
who was a fucking cock.
He was a total dick. He had a cowboy hat on, little cowboy dude.
Fucking douchebag.
Yeah, he was a dick from the get-go, probably because he got word from the other bus drivers like these guys are assholes. But yeah, it was the last night of the tour. We're playing the Troubadour and
Hollywood.
And the bus was parked down the street, and Stuck Mojo was having like a raging like end of tour party on the bus, smoking weed everywhere. There was bus like billowing out of like the escape hatches in the top.
In fact, let me just fill in a little detail. You know, there was so much fucking weed smoking on this tour I can't even explain to you. So like every day they'd buy weed, or someone would just give them weed. Anyway, they had a buddy who brings everybody a pound of weed.
Yep.
On the bus.
Yep.
So go on.
And like there was like the smoke billowing out of like the escape hatches on the top of the bus. That's how much smoke was going on. The bus driver called the cops and said, "Hey man, there's a bunch of illegal activity going on my bus right now. Like these guys are smoking weed and probably doing other stuff, and come down." And I was the one, like I was getting ready to leave. I was saying bye to everyone, and I was going to stay in LA for like an extra week with some friends. So I had my luggage, and I was getting off the bus, and I see 2 sheriffs like standing right there. And I'm like, oh fuck. And they're pointing at me, and they're like they're knocking on the door, and I'm like, oh,
you're in the bus. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I want to get off the bus, and they're standing right there. And there's like 100 people, like the guys from Brujeria. I think Cold Chamber people were up there. Everyone was partying.
Cold Chamber opened it, yeah.
They opened that show, that's right. And so I opened the door, and he tried to like wedge in, and I pushed him back and closed the door. I didn't let him on the bus, but he had me pinned up against the bus, and I had nothing on me. And he goes, he's asking what is this? I go, it's a band. It's the last night of the tour. I'm going home now. I'm leaving. So he let me go. I don't know how they got on the bus after I left, but they did get on the bus.
Oh,
and did they arrest you guys?
Dude, I mean, it was crazy for a minute. So I get off. I don't even know about you at this point. I mean, I know you're leaving. I think we said goodbye or whatever, but like I'm settling up or doing whatever I had to do inside. And then I get word from, I can't even remember who it was, but somebody's just like, dude, the fucking cops are raiding your bus right now. And I'm like, oh my God, because I knew that everybody had just got, some people just got bags of Coke. Some people some people were already on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Everybody's smoking weed. And I'm like, oh no. I fucking walk out there, and I'm like, dude, I walk out and I just see all these fucking sheriffs around, and I'm like, oh fuck. And it's sheriffs. I'm like, fuck. So we get on there, like, you know, okay, I have to start pulling me aside, and I'm like, look, I don't smoke weed. I'm just coming into here. I don't know. I kind of play dumb, but I obviously know what's going on.
Right.
And they kept us there for a while, man. They kept us there for a fucking long time. And it was that fucking asshole bus driver he was just being a dick.
Yeah.
Knowing exactly what the fuck he was doing. He was like, oh, fuck these guys. I'm just going to fuck. So then I guess they were like, they confiscated everybody's weed. Then they just said, get the fuck out, get the fuck off the bus, and we won't press charges. And so just everybody was already going to, I mean, I guess we weren't already going to do it. We were going to get driven home to San Francisco.
Right.
So then we just have to grab our shit. They take all the weed. Everybody's all, everybody's frying on, I'm not frying on mushrooms, but everybody else is frying on mushrooms. And everybody's freaking out like, oh my God, this is the worst fucking night. And I'm just like, fuck. But we get our stuff. And I just remember that, I remember on the way out, I was just grabbing all my last little things. And I remember our bus driver, he liked chew, like tobacco chew.
And he left it on his seat all the time.
He left it on the seat all the time. And I was just like, oh, I just got to get one more thing out of the back. And I took his chew and I fucking pissed at it. And I set it back on the fucking thing. I was like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, man. That was a colorful ending to a colorful tour. How'd you guys get home? You flew home then?
I think we had to fly home. Yeah, I think we spent the night at Kenny's. I think it was the buddy of ours, but we spent the night at his house, and then I think we just had to fly home or something.
Yeah.
There was a couple other nights that were funny too. I definitely remember the whenever shows got horror, whenever there was a bad show, we just decided to fuck the audience. Like, we're just gonna make ourselves laugh for the entire whatever hour.
Houston, Texas. Dude, they were pissed. There was only maybe 30 people at the show.
Yes.
And there was issues with the promoter or something. Like, he wasn't going to pay us, or
he didn't want to pay us. He didn't want to give us water. He didn't want to give us water. We're like, we need water. Like, what the fuck?
Totally. So you and I got drunk before we played. You gave me permission to drink. You were encouraging it, actually. I was like, oh, okay. So we played drunk, played like shit. We only played maybe 6 Machine Head songs. And then you got behind the drums. And I got naked and tried to take a shit on stage. We were doing Gigi Allen.
Oh my God.
And people were flipping us off like, fuck you guys, man.
We were just saying, fuck this. We've been at this point, at that point, it was right near the end of the tour. It's it's the 10th week. We're losing our minds. Like, we're just falling apart, physically, mentally, we're stir crazy. We're probably in the middle of 16 in a row or some fucking insanity. And oh my God, that's probably my favorite memory of the tour. Just going back, shit face out of my mind, and looking back and seeing naked Will Carroll playing. And just fucking every time I'd fucking stop singing, I'd go back and look at you and just fucking start cracking up. I don't care how shitty this fucking crowd is. This is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Remember Stuck Mojo played Sitting Down. They had
protest.
That's what they didn't get paid. They didn't get paid. And so we said, fuck it, they're going to play anyway. And their protest was they sat down. They played their set sitting down.
That's right.
I think they might have even played it acoustically or something.
Right.
Yeah, that was Bones and
Rich Ward.
Yeah, Rich Ward. I can't remember what the bass player's name was.
I think his name was Dwayne.
Dwayne, you're right. You're Dwayne. And then it was
Brent with an N.
Brent, yeah, Bent with an R.
Yeah.
Bent with an R. Who made it super awkward because at one point Bent with an R decided that he wanted to get the Machine Head drumming gig.
I remember.
Made no secret about it.
I remember.
You made no secret about it to Stuck Mojo, and we're all living on a bus. It was dude, super awkward. What are you doing? Fucking. And he just fucking.
I also remember going back to Jackson Street Studios after the tour. I had a hi-hat stand there, something. I went to pick it up, and he was jamming with you guys.
Oh, shit.
And I swear to God, he didn't know how to do a thrash beat. He didn't know how to do the. You guys were discussing it when I walked into the room. I was like, oh shit! I just got my hi-hat stand on the left. But yeah. I remember it was very weird. And Dwayne was quitting. He was quitting
Stuck Mojo.
Yeah, so there was a lot of tension between them at the end of the tour as well.
And Bones was a fucking lunatic. I love Bones.
Bones is great.
Bones. He was fucking raging, just drinking, smoking. Just every girl was in love with him.
Yeah.
And Rich Ward, I got to say, to Rich Ward's credit, sober as a judge for the entire 11-week tour. I don't even know how the dude did it. We were filthy animals. It was insane. He fucking maintained sobriety.
Dude, on an almost regular basis, Like in the bunk alley, I was on the top bunk, and Rich was across from me on the top bunk.
Yes.
And then the middle bunks, I think maybe you were under me or Logan, one of you guys. And then over here was Adam. He was underneath Rich Ward.
Yes.
And
And Logan was across from him.
Yeah. They were across. They would pass joints back and forth, and sometimes like
No, let me. They would wake up in the middle of the night after going to sleep, like halfway through sleeping, and then smoke a joint, passing it back and forth, and then go back to sleep. I was like, what is the point?
And like, dude, and Rich Ward a couple of times would like open up his curtain and be like, guys, come on, man. Like I'm trying to sleep. Like the smoke's coming up here. And dude, Adam,
I know this story. It's so funny.
Would take a huge hit and lead out and just blow slowly into Rich's bunk, dude. Like a whole bunch.
I mean, there'd be times when I'd fucking walk down the hallway to go to the bathroom, and he'd literally just have a joint like literally under the curtain, just like holding it. The smoke was just going into it. Oh my god, he tortured him. Yep. I gotta say, like, Rich held it together. Like, he fucking
totally, man.
I remember at the end of the tour, he was just like, dude, I don't know how you do it, but I've got all the respect in the world for holding this fucking thing together. You know, because like our tour, I mean, you remember the tour manager was like every day was like, pull the gig. We're going to pull the fucking speakers don't work. Pull the gig. I'm like, we're not,
totally.
We can't afford to pull the gig. Like, we're doing the fucking gig.
He was our front of house guy as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the band that did like the last like 3 weeks of the tour that opened the tour?
Wicker
like
Man.
Yeah, they were cool, man. They were cool.
They were, yeah.
They're kind of Nirvana-ish a little bit, or like kind of sludgy, like Fudge Tunnel maybe. Yeah, they were cool.
Yes,
they were cool.
Totally. They were part of the Pantera management group.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
I forget. I can't remember what the I'm brain farting on the name. But yeah, those were
Foundations.
Andy something.
Concrete.
I don't know. I think it was Andy Gould managed them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that tour, we had Scum, who was always a source of entertainment. I remember one night he grabbed some bolt cutters from the trailer. We were parked outside of a Walmart or something like that, like a Target or something. And he ran over to it was like in the middle of the night. He ran over to the Target and he used his bolt cutters and broke free like a gumball machine or some kind of vending machine and ran back over to the bus and just started slamming it on the ground until it busted open and there was quarters everywhere. He was so happy. Dude. He was grabbing quarters. Like
quarters? Oh, not for the gum, but for the quarters.
Quarters, yeah.
He was looking for the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny. Mike Scum. I got to give a shout out to Mike Scum. He was our fucking road dog forever. He was like our lone guitar tech, basically. I think we had Steve-O as the drum tech too. Was Steve-O? Yeah.
No. Steve-O was doing the merch. The drum tech was Shu.
Oh, right.
That guy,
Shu. Yeah, that's right. Shu.
Yeah. He was doing both bands.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Steve-O was doing merch. And then who else did we have? We just had, it was just Scum doing the backline then, right?
Yep.
Doing guitars. Yeah.
Yep. And then Stuck Mojo had I forget that big dude's name.
Big Red.
Big Red. They had him.
Big Red.
And that's it. And Shu. I mean, I don't know who was doing their merch. Maybe Steve was doing both their merch.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fucking crazy times.
Totally.
Complete insanity. No. You know what's funny too? You brought up the Bent guy, which totally the fact that Bent with an R ended up saying that he wanted to join the band. You know, basically told Stuck Mojo halfway through the tour.
Yeah.
You know that he wants to do that, which just made everything weird. And I'm like, hey, like look, this hasn't got anything to do with us. Like we're gonna have tryouts or whatever. But
right.
But he came out that day that you came out when he was trying out and we were talking about the thrash beat and all that stuff. It's funny because I think, just the fact that we had really hung out with the guy and, we kind of knew him. And, I got to say he was he was a really like funny dude and super nice and like, seemed like a nice guy and, killer drummer, like hit really hard. And
oh, yeah.
And I remember he actually he was like, it came down to him and Dave McClain, after all the tryouts were done. And, dude, I remember we came home and I, we always kind of took people out to dinner to just see like, hey, can we like connect with this guy like at dinner?
Mm-hmm.
And I invited him over to my house for dinner, and we had Ginevra made some food, and Ginevra loved him. Like I loved him. I was like, oh my God, this dude's the best. I think this is the dude. Like fucking, we're laughing our ass off. And then I was just like, we're hammered. We're at shit face at this point. And I'm just like, all right, dude, like, like I can't wait. Tomorrow we were going to go jam. And I was like, I can't wait till you come back and we jam, like, get on the fucking jam some Angel of Death and, jam on some fucking Postmortem and, just whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah. Angel of Death? He's like, which one's that? And I was like, it was like, I mean, fucking, dude, I'm hammered at this point, and I was like, what? Like, which one's that? Like, what do you mean? Like, I know that one, right? Like, it's the fast one, and I was
The
like,
fast one.
and I was like, wait. I'm like, do you not know what song I'm talking about when I say? He's like, oh no, I know Slayer, and he kind of started backpedaling, and I was like, like that right there. I was like, no, like I was like, in that moment, I knew that he was not the dude. I was like,
right.
There's fucking no way, like. You don't even know, like, when I say, hey, bro, I need you to do a Dave Lombardo role right here, or try a fucking, Celtic Frost role, try a Tom Hunting role, you're going to have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, you're not going to have any place to pull that from, and he'd always been kind of glam bands and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was like right there, and I didn't even say anything at that point, but at that moment I was just like, you don't know Angel of Death? You're never getting in Machine Head. It's just like, that's it.
Right, man. I had a similar experience with him during the tour one night. We were at a bar after the show, after hours or something, and him and I are sitting next to each other at the bar, and someone puts on Creator, like Extreme Aggression or something. He had never heard someone like a beat like a thrash beat,
Right.
He was acting like he had never heard it before. And I go, what? I go, this is pretty commonplace in most bands, like
in 1995.
Yeah. And it was like he had never heard something that fast before. And he couldn't connect with it. And I was like, dude, this is Creator. You don't know Creator? And he's like, nah, man. So I knew at that point that, he wasn't really into the heavy stuff, I mean, granted, he is a killer drummer, but yeah, right. I could see why that would be a mark off the brownie points for not knowing fucking Angel of Death.
I was just so fucking like, I wish I had a fucking film on my face, because I probably was just like, what? Like, what song is that? Like, what are you talking about? So yeah. Anyway, those were fucking awesome times. And I remember didn't we had a big Halloween blowout, right?
That's right.
You had Eric Barth was the tour driver. That's who the other person was.
That's right. That's right. He was driving the truck.
Yeah. And then we had a big misfit. We all dressed up as the Misfits for Halloween.
Or black metal, like
was it? It was. I don't even remember.
I think you did like the Crimson Ghost kind of thing. But the rest of us, Adam, Logan, and myself, did like black metal type of shit. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because that was right when the whole black metal thing was happening with the church burnings and then everyone killing each other and stuff.
Right.
It was kind of fresh in the news, so we were joking around about that. But I remember actually the only picture of me with the band is of us in our fucking black metal and Misfit makeup. Like, I think Metal Hammer posted that picture.
Right.
Not posted. They printed that picture of us, and that's the only existing picture I have.
Right. That's the only picture of you.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, this is like pre-cell phone, so no one would have had,
Totally.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
There are on YouTube though. There are a few shows from that tour posted up on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it sounds pretty good actually. It's not that bad. Yeah.
I really go down that hole, if but that's cool. I'd like to see that.
Also filling, state the obvious that filling Chris Contos' shoes wasn't the easiest thing either, man. I mean, the drumming on Burn My Eyes is fucking phenomenal, so yeah, that was tough to play every night for sure, but it was a great learning experience, and I'm super glad I did it, man. And it was an eye opener, and it made me a better drummer.
It ruined you. I think you broke up with your girlfriend right when you got back, right?
We divorced right after that tour.
Divorced, that's what it was. You were married. That's right. You were married. Oh, you got married young.
Yeah, I got married when I was 20, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got off the Machine Head tour, got divorced.
It was two factors. Like, the Machine Head tour, she wasn't into the fact of me being gone for 11 weeks at a time. And then old Granddad started playing a bunch of shows right when I got back, and she went to a couple of warehouse parties and saw the scene that we were in, and she was like, I don't like this direction this band is. I don't like the scene you guys are playing in, man. I was like, well, that's what we're about. So it was a combination of those two things that ended our marriage pretty much. But
well, I'm sorry, or you're welcome.
I'll take the latter.
You joined Death Angel. I'm going to skip forward a little bit now.
Sure.
But you joined Death Angel on Relentless Retribution.
That's the first album,
before that record.
Yeah, I joined at the end of the Killing Season cycle. That was the album that they were still touring for when I joined. So that was like mid 2009.
All that time you had done Old Granddad and Mind Zone or anything else.
And just Old Granddad was really my main band, like, for all that time. I mean, there was other projects here and there, too many to mention, but
are you working during that time?
Yeah. Like many different jobs, but like, hey, I also lost a good job doing that Machine Head tour. I was working at a law firm, making pretty good money.
You were working at a law firm?
I was working in the mailroom. Oh. Okay. But it was still pretty good money, full benefits, all that shit. But they weren't stoked about me going away for 11 weeks. So, but yeah, I worked lots of random jobs. Probably the funnest job, the coolest job I had that helped out Old Granddad a lot was I was working for a mail distribution company that was competing with the U.S. Postal Service. So I was delivering mail downtown San Francisco to businesses, and it was mostly junk mail. Like 99% of it was junk mail. And so after a while, I noticed that the people I was delivering the mail to never seemed stoked to see me and just kind of threw it straight in the trash. So I stopped delivering mail for like 6 months. I just kept it in my apartment, and so I would leave the job with my mail cart and go. I lived right up the street. I go straight up to my apartment. I load all the mail bags into the basement of my place and just hang out and get stoned all day for like 6 months. But or maybe like a year. But this place helped out Old Granddad because they had a company van. And they let me use it for all of our gigs. So we would play all over California, and we would use the City Post van. You know who else worked there with me? Was Phil Sandoval from Armored Saint.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
yeah, dude. Totally. He was living in San Francisco at the time. He wasn't in Armored Saint. This is like 98, 97, 98. But so yeah, lots of different jobs. The only band I would mention that before I joined Death Angel that was of note was a band called Scarecrow, which is back together now. Scarecrow was me and Damien from Death Angel on bass, and then Damien, the bass player. Yeah. And then the two guys from Exhumed, Matt Harvey and Bud Burke on guitars. Okay. So that was a band that was actually picking up speed, and we probably would have gotten signed if we kept going, but then pretty much Death Angel picked us apart. Like Death Angel went to one of our shows, and then I thought it was kind of weird that all of Death Angel were at a Scarecrow gig. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And eventually I joined the band. And then Damien joined Death Angel a year after I did. Okay. So while I was in Death Angel for that first year, we had a bass player called Sammy Diostados, who was the bass player in Mark's band All Time Highs. And super cool dude, and totally fun to tour with, but he just didn't work out. So we got Damien like a year later.
Was Ted already part of the picture at that point?
Oh yeah, Ted joined the band right after the Thrash of the Titans show.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was throughout the 2000s. He was in Death Angel.
Yeah, that must have been cool to like reconnect with him.
Oh yeah, man.
5 bands later.
Yeah, man. Finally, this one works.
Right.
And everyone is under the false assumption that Ted's the one that got me in Death Angel, but it was Mark actually who suggested me and kind of sought me out. And I remember we were at a Carcass show at the Regency. I think Death Angel opened that show or supported Carcass. And during the Carcass set, like Mark just started talking to me about drums. You know, I was always friends with him, and you know, hey, what's up, and have a drink and stuff. But we never really talked music seriously together. And he was asking all these drumming questions and about this drummer's technique and can you do this and that. So I knew something was up. Coinciding with all of them coming to the Scarecrow gig, I was like, huh. And then either Ted or Mark said, hey, Andy's leaving the band and they want to jam with you. And I was like, fucking dude, I already knew like 30 Death Angel songs. So, you know, it wasn't like I had to do any cramming or anything like that. So I just I went to their studio the next day or a couple days later, and we did almost an entire set of songs. We played like 10 songs or something the first time I jammed with them. And they never asked me to leave. I stayed. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have been stoked that you just knew that much material anyway, you know, like.
Yeah, it was a weight off of my shoulders, because usually when you're auditioning for a band, like all the auditions I've done in my life, including Machine Head, you know, I had to like do some cramming. And, you know, with Death Angel, I didn't even listen to the songs. I already knew them, you know, so it was a comfortable situation.
Because you were from Daly City, the legend.
That's right, man.
Legendary Death Angel. And
Ornament, man. Ornament. No.
And fucking Ultraviolence was fucking, you know, mandatory listening, you know, like that was
totally
fucking everywhere. And, you know, I love that you played the other day. I was
Voracious Souls, yeah.
Voracious Souls. So fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, then you went on, I mean, dude, like you're coming up on what, your 12th year now?
Yes, I'm in my 12th year right now. Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
And 4 studio albums, 2 live albums, and shit ton of tours, you know, tons of tours.
Shit ton of tours. Like so many fucking tours.
Death Angels.
And now you're ready for touring, right?
Absolutely. But Death Angels done way more touring since I joined the band than the original version, you know?
Right.
Like since 2010 or end of 2009 was my first tour. We've just been nonstop. So it's cool. It's killer, man. I'm stoked to be in this band, and we have a good chemistry.
Yeah. It seems like you guys do have a good chemistry.
Yeah.
You're a good fit for them.
Yeah. Thank you. It's very comfortable. And like when I joined the band, like Rob was already starting to write more thrashier stuff. And the 2 albums they put out in the 2000s, Killing Season and Art of Dying, there's definitely thrash songs on there, but the albums aren't really full-on thrash albums. There's lots of rock and just different stuff, punk rock stuff too. And then by the time I joined, it seemed like Rob was on a mission just to write a straight, aggressive, super aggressive metal album from start to finish. So that's what Relentless Retribution was for the most part. And then the next album, Dream Calls for Blood, was even more so in that direction, just total fast and just thrash attack. So it works.
That record seems like your later day hit, if I was going to use the word.
You're absolutely right. It's my favorite of the 4 that we've done together, and seems like it's most fans' favorite. Totally.
People went crazy when you played shit off that. You know?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. I was like, whoa, like fucking, this is a huge fucking song. You know,
Yeah.
Crazier than even some of like your classic stuff.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know if that has something to do with my drumming style. It might have something to do with it, just the way I play. I'm obviously a thrash drummer, you know, so Rob's writing stuff to cater to my style or whatever, but it works, man. It's working. We put out 4.
Was a lot of the Restless Retribution written before you were in the band, or
no way? No.
So like you were there at the beginning, the
absolutely
conception of it. Yeah, right on.
Absolutely. Lots of demoing for that album. And that was the first like major album or real album I ever recorded. I mean, sure there's albums that out by old Granddad, but I was recording that with my friends, and I had never gone to like a real studio out in Florida, you know.
With Jason, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a nervous a nervous experience, but Jason's a great guy, and he made me feel comfortable, and we've developed a great working relationship now since then. But yeah, it was a trip recording that first album. The first time I was ever recording to a click track.
Oh shit.
So yeah, that's intimidating. That's really intimidating. You know, now I can't record without it. You know, I love the click track, man. It brings out the best in me. I play so much better when there's a click behind it. You know, so yeah, it's been going good.
Do you guys play to a click live?
No. You guys do like some songs, right?
Some songs, yeah. Yeah.
Why is that?
More like the groover ones, so that they stay grooving. Like sometimes, the drummer will go too fast or too slow, like so those. But like if it's a fucking thrasher, like fuck it, like just balls to the wall.
It's like when you were doing the Burn My Eyes anniversary tour, were you doing Death Church to a click track?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got it kind of moving, like it, so it matched the record, like so it's sped up, like the record speeds up.
At the end, the double bass kicks in, it surges a little bit. Yeah.
It'd be weird not to do all that.
Yeah.
So we had some pretty involved clicks made from that record, because the record kind of every song starts at one tempo and ends like 10 to 15 BPM faster.
Right.
So we'd kind of ride that. Zach programmed it pretty good, but then some stuff we just tried it, and it just took away the fucking vibe, like it just felt dumb.
Sure. Is that the only album you guys recorded without a click?
No, I mean everything up until Bloodstone was without a click.
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I remember another story from our tour that I have to bring up. Do you remember the show at the Stone Pony in Ashbury Park?
Yes.
And there was like almost a gang war.
Yes. I'll tell you another story that I remember, because I'm going to change the subject because I don't want to talk about that. But I do remember one of my rest in peace to Jack Cargill.
Oh yeah. Oh, Jack was on the tour too.
Jack was on the tour.
Right.
Yeah,
God damn. Yeah.
In fact, Jack might have been my tech.
I think he was.
And Scum was Logan's tech. Yeah.
Right.
My tech. And Jack was fucking. We called him Jackadin because he was always popping Vicodins.
I remember.
Everybody was on fucking Vicodins, like just fucking, and he had like an endless supply of Vicodin. And oh my God, I just remember, I forget, we were in some podunk town. I think we had just played a strip club somewhere in Canada. Like we actually played a strip club when we were sound checking. We had to take a break because the girl had to come up and do a routine, even though there was like fucking 12 70-year-old dudes just not fucking making it rain at all.
Yeah, totally. I remember.
So we played, and then fucking after the show, the show was decent, and I remember I loved that we were playing a strip club. It was fucking hilarious. And I'm talking like, this was not like a cream of the crop strip club. This was a fucking down and dirty, hard times, ladies trying to make their ends meet and get some milk for their kids or some type of strip club. It was rough. And Jack Cargill ended up getting a hooker after the show. And I just remember all of us being in the back lounge just watching him get a blowjob. And he was like, finally, he was just like, everybody out. I can't concentrate. Everybody needs to fucking get out.
I remember that.
Fucking, I just like remember having tears in my eyes. I was laughing so fucking hard at that. Rest in peace, Jack Cargill.
Yeah, rest in peace, buddy.
You were one of a kind, goddamn you.
So, hey, have you guys been nominated for a Grammy? Have you been to the Grammy Awards yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did you like that experience?
It was an honor to be nominated, and it was for Aesthetics of Hate, and it was us and Shadows Fall, and I think King Diamond, and then Slayer got nominated for the bonus track on the reissue of the same album that they had just won a Grammy for the year before. So, so they had put out a record, I think it was Christ Illusion.
Yeah.
And then they changed like distributors, like it went from Columbia to Sony or vice versa, whatever. And so they reissued the record once it got to the new distributor with one bonus track. And the bonus track, which was terrible, got nominated for a fucking Grammy. And then it fucking won. I was like, cut for the same come on, man, for the same album. But
Do you guys?
Carrie was very gracious. He was like, "Look, I'll take the Grammy, but you should have won." He texted me like as soon as the Grammys were over. He was like, "Dude, you should have won this."
Did you guys go to the after party and all that stuff and do all that?
Yeah, we did. There was like a pre-party, so we did that like the day before, and then we went to the thing, and I remember at least when we did it, it was like there was like there's like 100 Grammys that get won in the building down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like they only broadcast it on the internet. It's like in a totally different building. And it's like, I think the metal category came after Hawaiian instrumental music. I was just like, come on, man. Like metal is right after Hawaiian like no disrespect to Hawaiian instrumental. Like what the fuck? We're way leagues above this here. And, so I was kind of annoyed like about shit like that. I felt like metal was disrespected like because of that. Like we write our fucking songs, we're playing all of our fucking instruments. I was like, the fuck, man? Like we're in this other fucking building. Like this is bullshit, dude.
We had the same experience. I mean, the metal category wasn't televised on TV. Yeah, and it was across the street in a smaller facility. But yeah, same thing. I mean, it was an honor, and I'm glad I went, but I felt like the redheaded stepchild the whole time I was there, you know, like
totally. And I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? And then I go up and like, you know, I like Kanye West. Like I'm a fan of like 2 or 3 of his records. And he gets up there and it's like him and Daft Punk. And it's like, dude's pressing a button on a laptop. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is like what's worth telling. Like, what the fuck, man? So I don't know. Maybe it was just the fact that I was sour grapes from losing, but you know, but I felt like that even going into it, you know, it's just like, this is just weird. Like we're in this other, like, anyway, we did go to the after parties though. And the after parties were fun. We went and fucking crab towers and, you know, like fucking drinks everywhere. And, you know, we got hammered and fucking went. Actually, Logan was there with us. Logan was our designated driver.
Wow.
For the Grammys. Logan had gotten sober and we're like, fuck it. He was just like, hey, you cool if I drive you around? I was like, fuck yeah. Like, why not? Like, you're going to be sober. Like, let's do it. So
that's
we hung
cool.
out. So it was a fun time. It was a good memory. And, you know, like we hung out with the Shadows Fall guys and we fucking got shit faced and, you know, it was a good time.
Right on. We lost to Tool and we knew we were going to lose to him. I mean, yeah. So there was no expectations shattered or anything like that. Like I knew what the outcome was going to be. And then we went to the after party and dude, it was one of the loudest performances I've ever heard. Gloria Gaynor, you know, the woman that sings "I Will Survive."
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. It was killing us, man. Mark was texting me going, dude, this bitch is blowing my fucking head off. Dude, I was like, yeah, me too. It's so loud, man. We couldn't handle it. Here the metal guys walking out of a Gloria Gaynor gig covering their ears, man. But it was a lot of fun, though. Totally.
Yeah, it was a good time. We had and then we were on tour, so we left the tour for a couple of days and then came back, and so it was just like, you know, whatever. I mean, we kind of felt like we were going to lose. We're like Slayer, everybody knows the name, like it's gonna. But we thought we had the chance because they had won for the same album the year before, so we were like, you know, there's a good chance that like, you know, they might give it to an up and comer or maybe give it to King Diamond, which I would have also been okay with because I was like, hey, fucking King Diamond gets a Grammy, fucking hooray for all of us.
Totally,
you know,
totally.
So yeah, that was good stuff. When was that? Was that for Dream Calls for Blood?
No, that was
recently, right?
That was right before I went in my coma. Yeah.
Because I had Rob on right before that, and he was asking me about it. And we had to talk. We had to talk about it. It was cool.
It was 2020, so it was for the last album, Humanicide. It's like we went to the Grammys, left for the Bass Strikes Back tour like a week after, and then the tour ends in tragedy. That was a whirlwind couple of months there. The Grammy Awards all the way to a coma.
Right. Ups and downs. And
it also sucks for Death Angel. Typical. We didn't even get a chance to use our Grammy clout. I mean, the whole world shut down right after those Grammy Awards. So we couldn't use the Grammy nominated Death Angel wants a new snare drum, you know, or whatever. Like, you know, we couldn't.
Did you get dressed up to go?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You got a suit and
I did.
Oh, nice.
It was rad.
Did all of you guys get dressed up? I think Rob and I even talked about that. Like
we did.
I was like,
everyone did.
You know what? I didn't, and I regret it. Like I wish I would have got dressed up. I wore like a Charles Manson shirt or something stupid. I was like,
oh, wow.
I look back and I'm like, what the fuck? That's cool. That's cool that you did it. What was your suit? All black?
No, I had a red sparkly like dinner jacket type of thing.
Nice.
And then the rest was black pretty much. Yeah. Black slacks and black shirt and tie. But yeah, I had a red sparkly jacket.
There's probably pictures of that right on the internet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
I tell you what, dude, it has been absolutely awesome catching up with you.
You too, brother. You too, man.
We've been talking for almost 2.5 hours now.
All right.
Yeah. It's fucking great. I love it. And I love you. And I've always loved you forever now. And it's been great catching up. And I haven't seen you for fucking a long time. Our paths,
totally
touring paths didn't cross, and you were here and I was gone, or vice versa. And it's just been awesome. Certainly the other day at the obituary show, and then today. It's been awesome, man.
Totally, man. I mean, you've always been cool to me, like during that tour and ever since that tour. You've always been my friend and always been cool to me and treated me with respect. And I have nothing but respect for you as well. And I consider you a dear friend, man. And I'm just glad we're talking right now.
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, the mighty Will Carroll, Death Angel, no fucking regrets. With ROBB FLYNN.